Hello, everybody. Welcome to bonus content. It's me, Alex O'Neill, joined by my
Oh,
my three cohorts, as
hello,
always.
Alex.
I know. Hello, Tony. Tony Horvath is here.
Hey,
Uh,
baby.
hey, baby.
How you doing?
I'm better now than I was last week. Scott Guthier is here,
Hello.
and Brian Nobshin Jackson is here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys?
We haven't started the show. Why'd you do it one by one?
You're right. I usually do it quickly. I gave you guys your moment. Have you guys ever been so sick that you genuinely thought you were gonna die? This is a serious question.
No.
Maybe.
I've had an ear infection that bad, but a very long time ago.
Yeah, man.
It's probably over exaggerating.
I mean, like at the time though, I got the flu. Apparently, they were worried it was going to turn into pneumonia at one point because I have really bad asthma. So, it's happened to my mom before. But it was really bad. Like, I was scared for my life at one point. I almost went to the hospital. I've had the flu many times before. It's not a new ailment for me. And it was like one of those things of like, oh man, diseases are getting more powerful, and they're all going to kill us someday. I had a very humbling moment, but yeah, that was partially why we missed last week. Apologies, everyone out there. In the interim, have you guys gotten up to anything? Scott, have you gotten anything the last couple weeks?
As far as shenanigans goes, no. It's in that full swing again. So
Minimal
no more shenanigans for me.
Okay. Apologies to video viewers for a moment. I have to fix my camera. What about you, Tony?
Weekly shenanigans.
Any shenanigans of the sort this last week?
No shenanigans like this past week, but I'm planning to get into some shenanigans, which is always super exciting.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, dude.
There we go. Much better. People got to enjoy that gift that you sent us, Tony.
Oh, which one?
The dancing girl one.
Which one?
The most recent one.
Because if you scroll up there more.
Yeah, I'm sure. The Tony usually sends us a pre-show gift to get us hyped up. I assume that is your intent behind it, at least.
Yeah, to hype you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might have to change the content of the gifts to get you hyped up, though.
I don't know, that one of Jeff Gerstmann rubbing his hands together.
Yeah, it's my favorite gift, dude. I made it.
You made that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a very good. He's wearing a hat that says hentai, right?
Yeah, it's so fucking good. I don't remember. Oh, I think it was some quick look they did on their site, and I was watching it, and I was like, he did that, and I was like, this has to be a gift.
It's very good.
I'm making this gift.
What shenanigans are you trying to get into this coming week?
You'll hear about it next week.
Damn.
Scott might hear about it before next week because Scott might be involved. He just doesn't know yet.
Trying to get that tease.
Yeah.
He's going back to Magic.
He's getting deep into Magic the Gathering again. What about you, Nobshin? Any shenanigans?
Not necessarily, no. They're mostly just working, watching a few movies here and there.
Yeah,
that's about it, though.
We both went and saw Captain Marvel. What'd you think of it?
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Because one of my coworkers asked me if I were to score it, what would I give? I would probably give it an 8.5. It reminded me a lot of Black Panther. Did it remind you in a similar way?
It reminded me a lot of Captain America,
really?
First Avenger.
Huh.
Yeah, because especially thematic wise, because it's like about a person who about a person who keeps getting told no and them not giving up and keep getting back up. Saw a lot of comparisons as far as what I was seeing.
The Black Panther comparison, just to specify, it very much felt like them trying to make a movie that mattered to a certain person, like certain subsect of people, and I thought those parts of it were really effective, personally.
I say certain parts of it, like especially like the scene at the end where she doesn't prove anything. I think that was like a very good moment right there. But like for the most part though, like I'm trying to think like if I'm comparing it to something like Wonder Woman, for instance, like this, because like there are only like two similar ones I can actually think about. Like I'm trying to think like you say the church moment for Wonder Woman, like there's a scene like that in this movie, but that's like like they said, her getting back up, the flashback stuff, showing her always standing up to be a good person. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's not for me, but as far as like demographic wise or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like I still feel like it was just a good movie overall.
Yeah.
I don't think it hit like as much as like it needed to hit per se. Like as far as like just like an overall like spectrum of the movie, like I thought Brie Larson was fantastic. I thought she was a great actress in that movie. In fact, pretty much all the actors in this movie were pretty great. Like obviously her chemistry
killed it.
Yeah, like their chemistry together, her and Sam Jackson was amazing. The Skrulls were great.
Yeah, they were really surprisingly great too.
Yeah, exactly.
Every bit with like the science guy, it got me so good.
Like her best friend, like she was surprisingly like really big in that movie.
In,
I felt
2 scenes, I think, but she like is super great in both of them. Like 2 big scenes. She's in a few, but yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I think my not really my beef, but like my really criticism of the movie is like maybe just how it was structured, something like that. Like there's something that I feel off about the movie a little bit, just a little bit. But like as far as like the ingredients, all the ingredients is good. I just think like it just didn't come together all the way. It was still like a good movie, a good experience. Like I remember it. I'll like it's like I think it's good, but it's not great. Kind of how I kind of felt like Black Panther in a way.
Yeah, I get that.
Personally,
there is a villain character that appears in it that I didn't think needed to be in it. That was kind of like my umbrage with the movie, was like in the third act, somebody shows up for all of like 30 seconds for no good reason, I think.
And literally just stands in one position and doesn't do it. Just that one pose. Like I got so distracted by that. Like he wasn't allowed to move or something like that.
It was cool from like the perspective, in a similar way to like Claw being in Black Panther, and us having already seen him and stuff like that. It was cool because it's like all these things are connected together. But like that character in particular is, and I won't spoil it for folks who have not seen it, but I think is super lame in the movie that they are from. As is, and I think no one would argue that. And they're super lame in this too. So, and like it was that whole when she has to have a very brief encounter with that antagonist. That was like where I was a little checked out. I was like, this, all right, I have to pee really bad, and let's get everything. Everything else was like very good. Her like the main antagonist of the movie, I think, is really great, and like all of her one-on-one interactions with that character in particular are excellent. So like this other person showing up, and then it's like, all right, well, I guess there's a space fight now, and there really didn't need to be any of this. That's the stuff that I didn't really like, but I like how the story was told. I like how you're kind of figuring it out as she is. Knowing nothing about Captain Marvel, like all the stuff of like the kind of reveals of her character was really cool for me. It was really surprising. I was like, oh, whoa, I did not see this coming, which is always fun. And yeah, Brie Larson just is, she had way more of a personality than I guess like the trailers kind of led you to believe.
Sure.
But like she is like this very, very fun. She kind of reminds me of Iron Man a little bit. She's very fun. She's just, I adore her so much. I cannot emphasize that enough. And yeah, I would say like there's no scene quite as powerful as like the No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman. But I think the overall tone of the movie is at least as powerful as that, and what it does for her character. My friend brought up there's no love story in this movie also, which I really like, because so many, I think, female stories are kind of like burdened by these love story aspects to them,
or just having a female in the movie in general. That's kind of why I liked Into the Spider-Verse, where they're maybe ruining in the sequel, but like just like having that platonic relationship is really good.
Yeah,
it is stories in general.
Yeah, they don't lean on that trope at all here, and I think it's way better for it. And it makes her character kind of stand on her own. She doesn't have to be like brought up by any other character. It's very, you can tell it's intentional, and it works way better for the movie. But yeah, overall, I thought it was great. I thought the action was great. I think Captain Marvel as a hero is super cool. Again, not knowing anything about them going into this, seeing her in action was super awesome. She got cool powers. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I would recommend it. It's every time like, and this is, every time we kind of like have to get brought back down into like the current state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, though, I get super bummed out. And that was true here as well. But I was just like, that's just the weight that I'm carrying with me. I'm really ready for Endgame to come and go, and things to hopefully not be quite as so fucking stoic. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp got me real hard at the end too.
Oh, you mean okay?
Yeah,
oh, good. Never mind.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's great. Sam Jackson really crushed it. I don't know how they made him look so young, but he looked fucking great in that movie.
He's 70 years old.
He's 70. He looks incredible. And he looks like a 30 to 40-year-old dude in this movie. And you don't question it. Like, I think whatever makeup, whatever shit they're doing to his face in this movie looks super great. And shout out to Coulson. One time.
Hit him with the one time.
Get him with the one time. What other movies did you see, Namshin?
Like the only one I kind of just want to like just talk about it for a second, just because it's just interesting. Like re-looking at it again, was Waiting.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about this.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever seen that movie.
I've seen it one time, because at the time I was a big Dane Cook fan. If we want to just bring up a lot of past regrets. So I looked it up and watched Waiting. Basically for that, I don't remember much about it. I remember.
Yeah.
It's I worked in a restaurant, and I remember it being nothing like working in a restaurant.
No, dude, it's like it's still really funny, and it's still like it still has really good bits to it, but it's like it's again like one of those period pieces where it's like, wow, this is what we thought was acceptable back then, and now it's like you look at it now, it's like this is terrible. But like it's still funny. Like if like if you know what you're getting into, and I knew what I was getting into, which was funny. Like obviously like the whole the penis showing game in that movie. It was like that was the thing about the movie, but like I forgot the whole aspect about like that. It was like, oh, I'll show you my penis. You see it, and then I call you a gay slur, and then like I had to kick you in the butt like a certain amount of times because you've seen me like see my balls, or you see me do the goat or whatever. I was like, oh wow, that's terrible. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, that's and like I saw that a lot, like even like blinking an eye back then. And it's like, that was something that I thought was okay back then. It was like, it just shows you like how much you grow as a person, like how much you can grow as a person like in the next few years, and like obviously Ryan Reynolds, who's like amazing in that movie, so funny, so talented. He's a pedophile in that movie. And I forgot about that too.
I forgot about that too.
So it was like, oh yeah, this is that, and which was hilarious, and it is still funny, but it's funny because it's like it was something back then, and I accepted it, and it's like it's just like a whole thing, where it's like, because like watching that movie again, like just made me like realize, like, man, why is pedophilia even still a fucking thing? But like that's not neither here or there. But yeah, it's just like I'm almost tempted to look at like old movies like that just to see like how far I've come as a person.
It's like early 2000s R-rated comedies, right? Like I wonder,
yeah,
like The Hangover, the first Hangover, like how does that movie hold up? I don't
know. Or even something like American Pie or something like that.
Oh yeah, like that's like 2000.
Yeah, you gotta go older than The Hangover.
Yeah, I mean, because like to be fair, like The Hangover is what kind of brought R-rated comedies back a little bit because they dipped for a while there, and it was a big deal at the time. But yeah, I don't know, stuff like American Pie. I bet the American Pie movies are still funny, but I bet they have a lot of those like anti-gayisms that are not okay now. It seems like that would definitely be an issue with that movie, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Waiting is a fun pull, though. I love that you love that movie.
Yeah, like yeah, it was just like one of those things. Like this like even further back. Like I saw Crank again like a few weeks ago too.
Yeah, I saw that too. Holds up.
Yeah, it holds up. It's still funny. It's still bombastic and crazy. And like speaking about a scene that like we kind of grown for or something like that. Like there's a scene where like he has a Middle Eastern man as a taxi driver or something like that, and like he was taking him around and stuff like that. He was asking him to get in, and like for some reason he was wet. Like he was completely. I think he jumped in the pool to talk to his boss or whatever, and he went back to the taxi driver, and he's like, "No, you're not getting in my car. You're not getting in my car. You're completely wet." And then like Jason Statham just threw him out of the cab. And he just screams out Al Qaeda, Al Qaeda, and then like a bunch of old women just came by, just beat him up, and like he drove away. And like, yeah, that's a fucking scene in that movie. It's like, god damn, like it's so crazy. Just thinking what's okay or not, and like, and then it's like it's one of those things where it's like, I think Brian Tyler said something about this before, but like how to be funny in 2019 without like resorting to like something like that now. And like when you're actually able to be something like that, then like that truly is showing like you're like a comedic genius or something like that, when you can like actually think out of the box and be funny without like having to like even really offend people per se.
Yeah.
Like that's why most comics go to like self-deprecation humor.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's funny to make fun of myself, and like I could be this not great person, and you could think that's funny because I'm not that great of a person, type of thing. So
I don't know. You see, I feel like you're not a real comedian unless you've seen that one SpongeBob episode.
Which one?
Come on, dude.
Yes.
Is it the comedy club one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Man, I have not seen that episode in a long time. Yeah, I think I've learned to appreciate that too as getting older. Like there are types of humor that like I'm starting to understand like work for me way more than other kinds. And like those kind of universal humor touchstones that aren't necessarily stepping on anyone, like I've really learned to appreciate. Like oh man, John Mulaney, for example, he's very good at that. He's very good at like self-deprecating, but like he has a way of just like telling stories about his life that are very funny. I highly recommend any of his stand-ups on Netflix. But there's just one he says about like a friend of his that would like break into people's houses and take family photos. So good. And just like the punchline of the joke is, why do you do this? And he's like, because it's the one thing you can't get back. And it's so funny to me every fucking time. So yeah, I like that. either self-deprecating or just like highlighting the crazy people in your life that you've met that aren't necessarily like generalizations, but they're way funnier because they're way more specific than that. I like that kind of stuff. Any other movies you've seen recently?
No, but like I've been thinking about like a lot of like I guess you could say real stuff lately. And I'm trying to figure out how to express these feelings without like when find people to talk to about it. I might like hit up Jared and Nicole again. Like we had like a private chat like almost a year ago, just like talking about like racial stuff. So like I might hit them up again and like talk about some stuff because like I had thoughts and I don't know how do you express them.
Hell yeah. I know I might not be the right person, but you can always talk to me about it too.
Of course, but it's more of like the recent things that's going on with like R. Kelly and Michael Jackson. So it's like it's like kind of like one of those things where it's like yeah, I don't really want to.
This show deathly serious very quickly.
Yeah,
I understand. No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys want to start talking about video games?
Do you have anything other than dying?
I mean, yeah, I died.
Goodbye.
Yeah, so long. No, let me see. I'm trying to like, I've left the house 3 times, save for today, 3 times in the last 2 weeks, which was to get food, and then to see Captain Marvel. And I had to like kind of build myself up to that. So yeah, it has been not great, but I'm doing better now. Thanks to everyone who reached out to me on Twitter and said nice things or wished me to feel better. It's very kind. But I've like my whole life shut down. I've never been so sick that like I'm not Saturday, like, so this time last week, it was so bad that like I just like closed my eyes and laid down. I couldn't sleep because I felt terrible. But the sinus pressure was so bad that it felt like somebody was standing on my head with their ankles pressed into my temples. So yeah, it's just been,
man, they were pretty far into your face.
Yeah, it felt like it. It felt like 5-inch heels like going into my face. Which, you know, that's just downer stuff. I mentioned it last week, but I got a Cloud amiibo, and I want everybody to understand this is a big moment in my life.
Which one?
Player 2. Pissed about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love Advent Children as much as the next goddamn weeb, but the canonical purple shirt Final Fantasy VII look, I want that. I gotta find one. I was with Brant, and I was like, listen, I'm sorry, I have to buy this. I said to myself, if I ever saw it in person, I would just buy it. He was like, I'm not judging you.
You know, he did judge you, though.
He did judge
if you didn't buy it soon enough.
It's true. I didn't. I waited too long, and now I'm stuck with this Player 2 amiibo. But yeah, like, I've been jumping around. I haven't, like, found something to play, really, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, I've been jumping all over the spot. Let's talk about video games. Let's get into it. You guys got Audacities ready?
Mm-hmm.
You're audacious.
Yeah, it's ready.
Tony?
Feeling audacious today.
Excellent. On 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
I bought a new cable for my headset and it worked, so my headset's working again.
Yay! I'm glad.
The like week of like using in-ear earbuds was the worst thing.
Yeah, that sounds awful. Oh god, can you guys hear yourselves?
No.
Nope.
Sometimes.
Okay.
Buddy.
I have it. No, that's the wrong one. Can one of you guys talk for me?
Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nabishin, because you're the loudest coming through. Can you talk again?
I just wanted to say I apologize to you, Scott, for like letting you down for like the last 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and not being here as your partner in this betting crime. So
It's okay. I held down the fort.
Sorry,
I appreciate it.
Scott was fucking cleaning up, so yeah, it was recording you guys as well. I just want to make sure I stopped that. So I had it set up from the Disney stream that I did.
Oh right,
which was super fun. Did you didn't tune that at all?
No, I missed it, man.
It was so much fun. A lot of people showed up, listened to Disney songs. Did you see the final ranking?
Yeah, I did see that actually. Yes.
As you might imagine, people were pissed at me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck though. They can fight me. I'm all here for.
They'd win though.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, they would destroy me, but I would go down protecting my own honor. But yeah, there were a couple upsets. People didn't expect Colors of the Wind to hit the final two, but I love that song.
Hey, it's an Oscar nominee or winner, I think.
Yeah, I hope it won. The one that won also Oscar-winning song. All right, let's get started. It is Saturday, March 9th, 2019, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, the ferryman on the River Styx. I hope you brought your coins because we're all dying, apparently. Dying along with us is my amazing co-host, as always, Scott Guth here.
Hello.
Tony Horvath.
Not dying.
Okay, good.
Not dying.
All right, two are not dying, and of course,
No, just him.
Brian Nabishin Jackson.
Ouchie! Ow! Ache. Apparently, I am dying because that's the beeper gargle of ache. So, I guess that's my turn.
Yeah. Only one person not dying.
Scott, you get to live. You have to tell everyone our story.
It was Tony.
It was Tony. Tony killed us. Tony's the murderer. If you're looking for answers, we got one for you.
It was a murder homicide.
It was a murder homicide.
Not any other kind of homicide. I murdered them.
Yeah. Welcome to Irrational Passions podcast, a podcast I've been told is about video games. We got a great show. I think it's safe to say that we all have played video games. And we're going to talk about them. I did not curate questions this week because I was feeling really... We missed last week mostly because I was sick. So I figured we would not do much of a news or mail sack segment this week, just so the show doesn't run too long and I don't die. So apologies to listeners that were looking forward to those segments. I did bring a couple of news stories, but just a heads up. Hopefully this will turn out to be a shorter show. In a just quick update, if you are unfamiliar, Irrational Passions podcast is a product of irrationalpassions.com, which has some cool stuff on it that I'm going to tell you about right now. We have not recorded an episode in 2 weeks. A lot of cool stuff has gone up on irrationalpassions.com in that time. Some highlights of which are a review of Jump Force. That was a big personal achievement for me, I'll say, when Namco Bandai said that we will send you Jump Force. And they sent Scott White a physical copy of it. I don't know why, but they did that. Spoilers, that game's not that great. I hate to break it to everybody. But we also have a lot of great editorial-esque articles. George Cruz wrote, the title is Vignette is a deliciously bright game full of surprises. Vignettes is an indie PC game. It might be on mobile as well. Where you're kind of experiencing a series of vignettes, which are like short stories told visually. Very cool. I love George was like, I saw this game and I knew I needed to write something about it, and he like did it all in the span of 3 days. That's up right now. Jarrett Green had a couple of great editorials, a feature about Tetris 99, and also a feature about Monster Hunter World. I don't know if the Monster Hunter World one is up, actually, but hopefully that'll be up by the time you hear this. And then Mike Burgess wrote a great opinion piece on Anthem. EA is Anthem's worst enemy. It's a great. He's kind of in the same boat where you are, Tony, where he's kind of done everything. I think he's a little bit more optimistic about the future of Anthem. But we've had a lot of good conversations about Anthem on this show, thanks to Tony. So if you want to read a little bit more about another perspective on it, go check that out. Those are the main things. There's a couple other great shows, a couple episodes of input. Obviously, last week's podcast is a club banger, if I do say so myself. And we got some cool stuff planned. Also, we're going to be at PAX East. The entire editorial team is going to be going to PAX East, which is it's going to be the first time we're all actually in person together, which is cool. We're gonna write some stuff. We're trying to do some video stuff as well. But if you're going to be in Boston at the end of the month, it's my birthday on Sunday of PAX East. So you should come say happy birthday to me. It's a request, not a demand, but I would appreciate it. Here's the thing, guys. I don't know. I have a little bit of some machinations, and I'm going to reveal them to you live on this podcast right now. I don't know what the plan is for doing a podcast the week that I'm in PAX East, but I will say this: if we
will be numbered.
It might if we take that week off, then we will be recording episode 420 on 420. That's all I'm saying. Take it under consideration.
Don't have to tell me twice.
I've looked at the calendar. I've been planning. I have nothing planned currently, but I think it would be very funny to record episode 420 on April 20th. That's all I'm saying.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So there won't be a podcast the week of PAX East, but that's all right. I'm sure we might do something. At the very least, there will be other content that you can read on irrationalpassion.com. Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: even if we do podcast, we're not going to put a number on it.
Yeah, we're not going to. It will be
cheat.
like a bonus episode.
Yeah, we'll cheat.
We'll cheat. It's fine.
Yeah, no shame.
Let's talk about video games. I want to start off with you, Nobshin. You got the game of the week, so I really want to hear about it too. Like I'm very curious about this. Obviously, we don't have to jump right to it, but Nobshin, what have you been playing?
There's various of things. I kind of went back to Tekken 7.
Yeah, Negan came out, I guess.
Yeah, like I had season 2 since it came out. I just pop in every once in a while just to check out the characters and stuff like that. But like obviously the big thing for this one was Negan from The Walking Dead was in that game, and like
I feel like there was not a lot of hubbub about this.
Are
you with me?
As far as like the announcement or right now?
Obviously, there was hubbub about the announcement. I think that was a cool moment.
Yeah,
I feel like he was just. I looked away from Twitter and then I looked back and Negan was out and people were playing him. I feel like people were reacting.
Yeah. Well, like when it got announced, it was like almost like a week before it actually came out.
Oh,
so like
really?
I'm sorry, like when the release date for him to be actually part because he's like the last part of that season. No one knew when that season was actually going to end, and like when it came out, that's when it like they said like, oh, hey, it's going to end like in like 3 days, so get ready to play Negan in like 3 days. So that type of thing. But yeah, dude, like he's really good in that game. He's like obviously stylish for people who watched The Walking Dead. Like I never watched The Walking Dead, so like I don't have the reference as far as that. But like you know, like me being a person of the internet, I know who Negan is, and I know like his mannerisms and like generally what people like about him. So like yeah, he's really cool as far as that. Like honestly, like the biggest takeaway for me with Negan being in that game is like it's literally like just the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
It seems
just
super weird.
Just him being in that game is like it's so weird. It's almost off-putting, and I'm not usually a guy who like gets like put off by weird stuff. Like and like and I'm not saying like it's like like something terrible or something like that, but it's just so different and weird. It's like you're seeing this like this real life like human man, just like
fight a
who's-
tiger guy.
it's, yeah.
Also, like, would it be as weird if Negan, same character, was in Mortal Kombat?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah, I'm with you.
yeah.
Because, like, they put Freddy Krueger and Jason and whatnot in Mortal Kombat, and it's like, okay, that's cool. That makes sense. Horror characters, like, infamously gory movies that they're from. Negan is just a weird pick for Tekken, I think. Even Noctis, I think, makes sense to some extent.
Yeah, because like to put like a good like perspective to that, I guess, and not to bring up Roger Rabbit again, because this would be like the second time I did it, but like it would be like putting Roger Rabbit into the real world, which we've seen like, but like actually making him like I guess kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, and like making him like super realistic and having like an actual real face and stuff like that, like a real rabbit face, I should say, and like having him be super tall, stuff like that. Like, it just seems that weird to me to see him in that environment, because like he's around this anime characters and stuff like that, and like sure they're like have realistic graphics more or less, quote unquote, but like
it's a different thing though,
yeah,
like, Tekken is very intentionally like I think like glossy and sparkly in a way, and then when it just a dude with a bat shows up, it's just I'm like watching a combo video right now. It's weird. I'm here for it though. I don't want.
Oh yeah,
I think it's totally buck wild, and I think that's awesome.
Like I almost think it's intentional that like when he was revealed, it was just a silhouette of him, not the actual face. Everyone knows what the fuck he looks like, and like any promotional videos for him is just like his real life actor. So like it was like like we knew what he looked like, and like obviously he looks like that in the game, but actually seeing him in the game as that is off putting.
Yeah, it's wild. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Are they going to do a season 3 of Tekken DLC or no?
Evo's coming up pretty soon, in a few months, so like maybe they'll announce it there. But like as far as I know, season 2's been a big success. People's been loving Tekken like almost even more than like than he had before. Yeah. And in 2017, like that was like my number 11. Like I really love Tekken 7. So like yeah, like if any more of that game, like I will be totally down with. That game's super fun.
All right, I think we should pause here though, and I gotta ask everybody, how's everyone feel about this live action Sonic?
It looks awful.
I'm feeling fucking fantastic about it. Sonic's gonna die soon.
Nabshin, you are the biggest not Resident Evil, the biggest Sonic the Hedgehog fan amongst us.
Sure.
Tell me, take me through your thought process.
So like a thing that me and my best friend Katie been doing lately, like this is pretty much where our friendship has devolved into, just like us sending us just random pictures of like Sonic, any updates of this Sonic movie, or just like just fan art of Sonic in general, like pretty much representing this movie. But like that's pretty much what our friendship has devolved into now. And honestly, like as far as like the stuff that we've been sending to each other, like super buff Sonic or Sonic with a big giant hand or whatever the fuck we've been sending each other, like this is like, it's like, oh wow, this could have been a whole lot worse, and like it's actually pretty decent the way he looks, honestly. Yeah. And I mean, like you can look at him and say, oh, that's Sonic the Hedgehog, instead of like, what the fuck is that thing, or type of thing.
People were saying, so, how do you feel about like the eyes thing? That if his eyes were the way they are in the game, then it would be better.
But he has like one big giant eye. So.
I know. I agree. Because somebody did the Photoshop. It's one of the editors from IGN.
I've seen that Photoshop, and it's worse.
I think it looks worse. I don't know. I mean, like, listen, I don't think it looks great. I think it does look weird.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he looks kind of cute, and like, I think I secretly think this movie is actually gonna be pretty great, because like Ben Schwartz is phenomenal. I adore Ben Schwartz, who's playing Sonic. He's a very good comedian. I think like the way his mannerisms are just in general in life, I think are gonna match up pretty well. And it like we haven't seen any of Eggman, and like that's the way bigger question mark in my opinion. Like,
Well, the Jim Carrey Eggman.
Jim Carrey Eggman, what does that look like? What does that sound like? What is that? Like, I don't know. I think like Sonic is just gonna be exactly what you think he is, like personality wise, and the way he moves and everything. I feel like it's gonna be pretty standard. Like, nothing surprising there.
Honestly, I think they're going to go with what is it? What is it? The newer, not exactly a smart Eggman.
Yeah, probably. I just like,
Good with machines, but that's about all the forethought he has.
yeah,
Eggman.
probably pretty bumbling to some extent. I just like, I want to know what is that trailer? How do you sell this? Because like the marketing campaign for that movie has been perfect, I would say, just because everyone
Talks
is
about
talking
it.
right?
Yeah.
And so many people are gonna see that movie just because they have to know, right?
Yeah. 100%.
And it's obviously gonna do super well. I just like the trailer, the person that is cutting that trailer. It's like, how do I give the plot of this movie well? What is the focus of the trailer? Is it Sonic? Is it Eggman? Is it the conflict? I don't know. I think it's got to be like the focus of the trailer's got to be the reveal of like what this looks like in motion.
Like I like to some extent, I'm curious if like when that first trailer comes out, will it be almost as big as far as like views as like
Detective
Pokemon
Pikachu.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would bet so. But I think
I don't know as big because like people like
Close.
rewatch it and people love it. Detective Pikachu trailer. I mean, so like I don't know, it'll be that big, but like it'll definitely be like probably one of the most viewed ones out there. I would
for
think.
sure. Yeah, a lot of downvotes. I would say like the like to dislike ratio on that. We should do a bet on that just because like it's gonna be wild. But yeah, I don't know. Nabashin, how do you feel about Detective Pikachu, the movie, the trailers and all that?
I think it just looks fine. Yeah. People are very excited for that movie, and like I and like you know like I just think it looks fine, and I think it's like okay, that movie's probably gonna be okay. People are expecting the moon with the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not, but I think I'm happy to say it looks a lot better than I thought it would. So
yeah, it looks like I guess you would say a modern comedy, which is like something I'm not. I guess you could say I'm not necessarily into anymore.
yeah.
Per se. I don't know.
I think it looks like it has the potential to like be a little bit of like Lego movie type, like smarter than it seems, smarter than it looks.
I think that's the best case scenario for the movie.
Yeah.
And like if it reaches that, I think that'll be pretty good for that movie.
Yeah. Scott, have you seen any of the Detective Pikachu trailers?
Not the trailers. No, I've seen the Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly put that in the same boat as I do the Sonic thing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
On it, like they made like a live action Pokemon look cool, look fun. Like I appreciate the artistic decision to go with like the realistic looking Pokemon, and they hired the dude that does the realistic Pokemon art to do all the concept art for all the Pokemon in that movie, which is awesome. Like shout out, like he's done a ton of stuff. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he did these like awesome like journals for Fangamer of like the first 150 Pokemon drawn realistically in like a nature walker's journal type thing of like someone who's like researching these Pokemon would. They just straight up hired that dude who is known for that thing, and I think that's so cool. Let me see if I can look it up. But Tony, have you seen any of the Detective Pikachu trailers?
Yeah, I have.
What do you think?
I would prefer they didn't exist.
Damn. Firm but fair. I appreciate it. Realistic. Yeah, I can't find. I'll see if I can find the artist name. Let's get back on the rails. What else have you been playing, Option, outside of Negan in Tekken 7?
I've also been playing Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove.
Is this the new one?
That's the new one that just came out.
Okay, it did come out.
Yeah, it's good. It's Toe Jam and Earl. For better and for worse. Yeah, just like in the modern take. Yeah, there's nothing really much to say about it. It's like I don't know if you even played Toe Jam and Earl before.
Played
Or
very,
even
very little bit.
yeah, like it's the same thing. Like those old games, and like I think that's for the benefit. Honestly, like uh, very much like one of those like I remember this from my past. I hope it's like this again, and it's like it totally is. Just like a gold game where it's like you go into a world, that's randomly generated, and like just like just walk past open presents at random. You might get something good, you might get something bad, and like and just go to the next level and get all your ship parts, and you beat the game. Just a roguelike before roguelikes were a real thing. Didn't even realize it was a roguelike at the time until someone mentioned that like recently. It's like, oh, so you remember like the original roguelike? Oh yeah, I guess it was. But yeah, it's just a cool game. Cool vibes. Like you have like multiple characters you could choose from. Like which I don't really think is necessary because like all you care about is Toe Jam and Earl. But like they have girlfriends in this game, so like you can play as them as well. So I was like, okay, so have that as well. Yeah, the game's just cool. It's just a cool game. Nothing much to really take away from it.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool like that they were bringing that back. It's cool that they're sticking to like the roguelike stuff about it. I really like how the game looks, like the kind of 2D style of it. R.J. Palmer is the name of the artist that draws realistic Pokemon. Who is working on Detective Pikachu. It's very cool. Yeah, I don't know. Like, do you think this game will do well? Not that it has to, but do you think it will?
I mean, it was a Kickstarter game, so like it already made its money, I assume, for the most part. But like how Kickstarter is with like they need more to know than it actually is. So like, but like I think for what that game tried to achieve, I think it did successfully. I don't think in a modern landscape it'll do numbers or anything like that, but like for what they tried to accomplish, I think they did a fantastic job with that. So I think that might be enough.
It's funny. So I've been playing Thimbleweed Park. It's not necessarily one of the games I want to talk about because it's the book club game of the month currently. Well, not of the month, but the one since we're off the monthly schedule. But it's the current one that we are playing through. Thimbleweed Park, also a Kickstarter game. It's very, it's very funny because I've not played a lot of Kickstarter video games. Not that there are a lot, but I'm trying to think. I guess the last one I played was Broken Age, which is the Double Fine.
Hollow Knight, isn't it?
Hollow Knight is a Kickstarter game. It's true. Now that I think about it, it does have these kind of aspects to it. I think they're a little bit more subtle in it, but like
there's Shovel Knight and
Shovel Knight has like the kind of one zoned off area that is kind of dedicated to its fan base, and I guess Hollow Knight has that too. So like Thimbleweed Park is a Scum Engine style adventure game. For folks that don't know, Scum Engine is like inventory and verbs on the bottom half of the screen or bottom third of the screen, and you select like open as a verb and then click on the thing that you want to do it to. So it is a very old school kind of game, a la Day of the Tentacle, Original Monkey Island, stuff like that. But a lot of like the ancillary stuff, like the kind of background detail, is made up of Kickstarter stuff, which is super weird. So like there's a phone book that you can go through, and it has tons and tons of names of backers in it. And if you call them, you hear a voicemail on a voicemail line that backer made themselves and submitted for the game. And then there's also another section where it's like a library, and you can go through and check these books, and all of the texts of most of the books is made by Kickstarter backers as well. And for me, like that stuff in Day of the Tentacle would typically be like references to other games of the era or like other developers like Sierra Games or something like that. So it's weird that all of like the fun kind of detail stuff of this game is made up of just crowdsourced Kickstarter backers. I don't know. It's something I didn't really realize. You bring up a good point with Hollow Knight, because Hollow Knight has that stuff in it too, to some extent. It's a lot less of it, and it's a lot more subtle, I would say. But they're like these tombstones that you find that are dead warriors, and some of them you can fight, and some of them that you can't. I believe all of them, if not most of them, were made by Kickstarter backers, like the enemy design and whatnot, and what they can do. But it's a little bit more subtle, right? And the names fit with the world a bit more, versus like Peter Jacobs, like, submitted this fucking voicemail that you can call on your cell phone in the game and hear this voicemail that this real ass person that paid money for this game made. It's just super weird, and it kind of hurt. It hurted a little bit for me, but I realized like that stuff in Broken Age really resonated with me because I was a backer. I don't know. It's Kickstarter games are weird. That's the whole point of this, was just like Kickstarter games are super weird, and just the way that they kind of like source all of these very specific things. That when I am coming to this Kickstarter game outside of that, it really does not land for me. And maybe that's just Thimbleweed Park, but I don't know. Maybe that's everything. Is any of that stuff working? Is there anything like that in
Totally
Mineral?
Yeah, like when you go to like another level or something like that, you can sometimes see like an island, like pretty much just sitting out in space, just like, oh, this is a backer island, and just like has like a drawn character who's like looks like the person who backed the game, I assume. And I guess you could just say hello to them or whatever, but like it's just like, hey, they're in the game, so it's like one of those things.
Gotcha. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That stuff is weird. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't dislike it. It's just like it's hard to formulate an opinion about it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you prefer Shovel Knight special levels?
Yeah, like I think the the like the Hall of whatever they call it, the Hall of Warriors or something. I think it's like a really cool level, and like it puts all that stuff in one place and lets me kind of appreciate it in that one place. Obviously, like the enemy warriors that you fight, like the ones on the field, some of them were like designed by Kickstarter backers and stuff, but they like Yacht Club Games went through the effort of like integrating those characters into the world and into the lore. Like the Boomerang Kid comes back in Spectre Knight's campaign in a really cool way. It's like, oh, like this is the son of this character that Spectre Knight was best friends with, and he kind of looks after him. So like they really went the extra yard to take those things that were crowdsourced and develop them, and then everything that is just kind of very referential to the crowdsourcing is just in that one area. I think that's the way to do it. Like Hollow Knight did a similar thing of like some of the enemies, like the enemy warriors. Again, like I don't know if all of them were designed by Kickstarter backers, but I know some of them were. Some of them are out in the world that you can go fight. Some of them are harder versions of the bosses that you already fought, but for the most part, all the big ones are in like a graveyard that you can go visit. So it's kind of similar to the Shovel Knight, the way that game does it. I think putting it all in one place maybe is shittier for the backers because it's not as spread out, but I think it is better for the average player. I don't know. It's something worth thinking about. I don't know how many more Kickstarter games there will be ever, period, but it's at least something worth thinking about. Let's talk about Devil May Cry now, Mission.
Which one?
I guess you beat 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the reboot.
I didn't beat the reboot, but I played some of it again.
Okay. I guess I do want to know 2, and then you played 3 for the first time. I didn't realize that you hadn't played 3 before.
Yes.
How was 2 at the end of it? Do you think you could put your thumb on what went wrong with 2?
Oh, 2 is just a bad game. 2 is not good at all. 2 is like it's really weird how like because like when like if I were just to like to rate like like the 5 Devil May Cry games, not including Devil May Cry 5. Like I would probably put Devil May Cry 1 probably as like the second best game.
Okay.
Which is weird to say because like obviously it's like it's not as fleshed out as like something like 3 or even 4 is. 4 is definitely the more fleshed out game and like has a better combat system obviously, but like Devil May Cry 1 has like a world that's more interesting and like better characters and like even though it's like 2 of them or whatever. Like at the end of the day, like the story was like a real hindrance to Devil May Cry 4 in my eyes. Like because like even though I like Nero, I didn't care about Nero. And like his whole Kyrie situation was just like really just like a hindrance to that game. Like it's I feel like if I were to put like my thing about like Devil May Cry 4 in general, like in like a blanket statement, which is probably I'll take back later on, but whatever.
Sure.
Like it's Metal Gear Solid 2. It's the Metal Gear Solid 2 that people talk about, but like they don't really know what they're talking about. Where it's just like this thing, like oh, it's terrible because Raiden's in the game or whatever, and this love story or whatever. But like you don't really know what's really great about Metal Gear Solid 2 because you haven't really like you didn't really experience it the way it's supposed to be experienced. Like, or at least that's how I feel about it. But like it's probably like I said, it's probably something I'll take back later on. But like that's how I feel in the general moment.
I like that assessment though, because I feel like that is generally how I feel about Metal Gear Solid 2, and I get it. I respect the other side of it, you know.
But like to answer your question, actually, Devil May Cry 2 is just it's just not good, man. Like it's not really thought out. It's just it has like the most basic ass combo system. Like Devil May Cry 1 had more combos than that game did, and like because like you know like you have like a pause in between, like you could use like something different. Like for Devil May Cry 1 or Devil May Cry 2 is just a 3-button hit combo and that's it. Like they really wanted to emphasize you using guns in that game, which it looks cool. And like the gun system and like is actually like pretty okay, but like you go like to like bosses, like even like final bosses where it's like why hit you with my sword when I could just shoot you from right here? And it's like there's no real incentive to like do it anywhere anyway else because like you made the guns like not necessarily like the most powerful things, but like it's the most efficient thing in this game. It's like it's better than hitting you with my sword where there's a 3-hit combo where I can't stop the combo when I try to hit you. So it's like I might as well just stay back and just shoot you for 10 minutes and then you'll eventually die. Which is dumb. But that's that game. And just level design stuff with that game too is just like just not great either. It's just and obviously like I said, the enemy design is terrible. Like you're fighting tanks and helicopters in that game. Demonic tanks and demonic helicopters. So it's just not great. And like it was like 2 hours long, like literally 2 hours long. At least Dante's side, there's 2 sides you can go through it, but like her side is like 2 hours long too. So you're talking about like maybe like a 4-hour game. It's crazy how not good that game is. But yeah, that's just that game. Devil May Cry 3 though. That game is it's immense. Like it's fantastic. It's so much fun. And I definitely see why like for multiple reasons too why like that's like one of the best character action games out there. Like even story wise, even though like the story isn't like the most forefront thing about that game, because like as far as like telling the story, it's like take it or leave it. But like thematic wise, like the theme of that game about like it being about family and stuff like that. Not like Fast and Furious or something like that, but like
that's what I imagine. Nero like shows up at some point. He's like Dante,
Dom. But yeah, like that game does a lot of great stuff. and like what I went on about Twitter about like Lady, this character like who I've seen like in Devil May Cry 4, but like I never really knew who she was. I never really knew who that character was in general. Like I've seen her in anime, I've seen her in Devil May Cry 4, but I never knew who she was. And 3 like really just like shows this really badass character who's just like that's like, you know, a bunch of Matrix bullshit, and it's like and looks cool and stylish, but like has like a depth and like a lot of character for a game that was like mostly about Dante and Virgil, but like they spend a lot of time with her too, just like fleshing out who she is, without really letting you know who she is. Which is weird to say, but like but yeah. Yeah, Lady's like she's like a crazy standout in that game for me as far as like she's literally like one of the best female protagonists I've ever seen.
That's cool. I don't
just
hear a lot of people talk about her, so
yeah, like she's just really really cool. A real badass, and like she can hold her own. She can hold her own against demons for the most part. Like she can't like get to the level of Dante because like he's kind of immortal, and like you shoot him in the head, he's still alive and stuff like that. But like she could get that shot off to the head. So like that's like her like prowess and stuff like that. So I think she's really really cool. Too bad they ruin her in like in the next game because like she does nothing, and like and she gets sexualized a lot. You know, like showing cleavage and boobs and stuff like that. And it's like, oh come on, like she's a lot more of a character than that. She wasn't even like that wasn't even like a remote thing about her in Devil May Cry 3, but like in 4 that was like a thing.
Isn't that why Trish is there?
Yeah, I feel like Trish is always the kind of butt into that stuff.
Like, isn't like because they made Dante kind of a joke character too.
Yeah,
he's still like, but it's like it's on purpose,
right?
Like, why would they need two ladies to fill that other half of the joke role?
Yeah.
Like Trish, like I think Devil May Cry. I think that's the Devil May Cry 4 problem basically, because like it's a game that came out in 2008. Yes. So like that was like a game for 2008 gamers, whereas it's like, oh, showing tits and ass is enough for a female character, and you're okay with it. Because Trish is a lot more in that. In Devil May Cry 1, she's not too much more. They don't really get too much in depth about her and her character, but like she's still a cool character in the first game. But like, yeah, I think that's just a Devil May Cry 4 problem. This is just that game in general. And I guess I'll just switch on for that. Like, Devil May Cry 3 is great. That's the best game in the series if you don't count 5 right now. Yeah, definitely Devil May Cry 3. Awesome game. Everyone should play that game. Devil May Cry
out?
Oh yeah, 5's out.
5 came out yesterday, to be fair. We'll get to it in just a moment.
And like 4, like I mentioned earlier, 4 is a good game. 4 is a good game. Like combat wise, it's probably the best in the series, if we don't count 5, like I said. Because like Nero with his Devil Bringer, his arm is like the coolest thing ever. Seeing how he plays similarly to Dante, but like also differently from Dante is like also really a cool thing. But like the thing about Devil May Cry 4 is like they don't explain anything. Like we don't know anything about Nero. All we know, he has Sparta's blood in him for some reason. Like, is he Virgil's son? Maybe. Is he the offspring?
They do not even try to explain that to anyone.
Yeah. like is he like Virgil's son? Maybe. Is he like a Sparta offspring from another woman? Maybe. Like we don't know anything about this guy. He just happens to look similar to Dante, but like there's no reason why. We don't get a reason why. It's just a guy. And like that sucks.
There's no preamble to like. It's just the game starts. We see all these scenes with a character you do not know who this is. And again, I came in 4, so maybe it's obviously my mistake in general. But like, you're just playing as him and you're fighting Dante. It's the first thing you do. It's like okay,
mm-hmm.
It's very confusing.
And I mean like. And it's a cool like like thing where it's like, oh, this is a new up and brinker and like newcomer and like him passing on the torch to the next generation type of thing. That was kind of like when it's supposed to be like with Nero or whatever, but like they just don't do it right. Like I said, Metal Gear Solid 2 does that really good, but like I don't think this one does it good almost at all. Especially just because how the level design in that game is, where it's like you're going backwards when you play as Dante. Like you go like through like essentially like 4 stages with Nero, like or at least 4 bosses with Nero just going straight this one way, and then you're literally going the opposite way with Dante just going all the way back to like the beginning of the game, and just like fighting the same bosses again. And like this is certain aspects to that game is just not good at all. But it's fun to play. In fact, it's a crazy amount of fun to play. Like there's a lot of content in that game, especially like the special edition one where you could play a lady and Trish and Virgil in that game. So it's a good game, but like it's a game where it's like you can't really like I guess grasp on where like or it doesn't really just stick with you, I guess you would say. Like Devil May Cry 3 stuck with me like a good amount after beating that game. And like I remember bosses in that game. And like for like an inverse, like Devil May Cry 2, like I just watched like Maximilian, like because he's going through all the games too right before 5 came out, and like he played Devil May Cry 2 and I was watching him play and like I literally just beat this game and I don't remember any of these bosses that he's fighting right now. When I was watching that video. So like it was just like it's like that game just like came just like this guy like oozed down in my brain like as soon as I saw it. So it's so weird. And like Devil May Cry 4 is like somewhere in that middle where it's like there's some good stuff in that game, but it's like there's just a lot of stuff that's just like a whatever type of thing. And that's just disappointing about that game in general.
That's a bummer. But you played the reboot before we get into 5. Now we're kind of like with the full breadth of the franchise behind you. How did you feel about the reboot?
Dude, that game is so weird. It's still a good game. It's a good game. But it's so weird playing that game now. It's so weird. And it's like and it's not like in the point where it's like oh man, like they ruined the series. It's more of like, wow, you really should have called this something else. Because like whatever things you're trying to grab for as far as like adapting whatever Devil May Cry was into this game is just not working. It's not working at all. And like if it was just its own thing, I think it would have been a hell of a lot more successful. Where you can like flesh out characters and don't have to worry about like the ties to like what you have and stuff like that. It was just like Dante and Virgil just being brothers and like they have the name of like Tom and Jerry or whatever the hell their name would be. Just going against some guy and like just doing all that by itself. Having be tied to like all this past BS that you have to somewhat implement into this game, not necessarily because like they do a good job as far as their own stuff, but like I think about like how it's a bunch of showing and not telling, in Devil May Cry 3 about like Dante's and Virgil's relationship because like pretty much at the beginning of the game they just start fighting and like we don't get like a past scene where it's like them as kids fighting or something like that or any like any sentimental moments that you had like in DMC in Devil May Cry 3. But like there's just moments where they're fighting and stuff like that where like like obviously like they'll have to work together at the end because of a big bad or something like that. But like it's like a lot of like I said, it's like a bunch of showing and not telling, where it's like when they cooperate, when they have to do their final battle against each other, when they eventually say their final goodbyes to each other. In that game, that I think that does really good in DMC 3, which they do a good job in DMC. But like I said, if it didn't have that name and didn't have that attachment to it, I think the game would have been a whole lot better. But because it's still good, it plays good, it's a lot of fun, it's super easy, compared to like 3 or even 4, even 1 even. But like it's still a great game for what it is. It's just
that stuff really endears me to Devil May Cry though. Like I think obviously like it mechanically it's very accessible in a way that's like it forces like the brilliant thing about that game for me is it forces you to use other weapons naturally in its systems, which makes you better at comboing, I think. And I my friend of the show, Matt from the Three Best Friends podcast, he was talking about how he specifically hated that. He hated having to use certain weapons against certain enemies. I love that, especially because like you get multiple weapons of each like style of each kind, right? The demon weapons and the angel weapons.
Sure.
Obviously not right away, but by the end. So you kind of have a little bit of a tool set even within those constraints. But as for someone who was like, that was kind of like the first character action game I ever really played. It was such a great entry point for me, and I've talked about that a lot.
I mean, I'm gonna counter the point that you have to with no, you don't. You could also just be good at the game.
I mean, you like certain enemies don't take.
Or literally the color code
Yeah,
unless you're
they don't take damage from any other weapon. Like the red enemies have to be hurt by the demon weapons. They can't be hurt by any other weapon.
I must remember that wrong then.
I think you can use stuff like the environmental hazards and whatnot against them. But yeah, like there are the angel enemies and the demon enemies that can only be hurt by angel weapons or demon weapons. But like it's holding the triggers, right? I think is switching them. And I thought that felt super good. I like that they took it was DMC was perfect for me as someone who was like outside of the Devil May Cry series. Even I had played 4, couldn't fucking tell you a goddamn thing that happens in that game. I know at some point, isn't there like a giant statue at the end that you have to fight?
Yep.
Cool. I remember that. I remember playing through. I felt like 10 levels as Nero and then 10 again backwards as Dante.
Pretty much.
And,
actually, exactly that.
Okay, cool. That is all I remember about that game, and I remember Pandora's Box because I thought it was cool in concept, not at all fun to use. So, like, you know, the main points. But again, I'd heard all these things about Devil May Cry 3, about Virgil. I knew nothing about him. So, like, from the outside looking in, DMC Devil May Cry was like, oh, this is what I understand to be the Devil May Cry story, but just told in a way more direct way that makes way more sense to me. And it's all grounded in, like, this kind of backdrop of the real world, but this limbo aspect to it. I love all that stuff. I don't know, I feel like for the casual outsider to Devil May Cry who's not as comfortable with character action games is a perfect game, and it bums me out that more people didn't play it.
Have you played Child of Light?
The 2D.
Yeah, the Ubisoft game.
I've played a very little bit of it. I've played about the first hour and a half, and I loved what I played. I just didn't end up going back to it. I want to at some point someday.
The reason I brought it up is like I think it's like something about it. It's totally just like one of those like Japanese game design versus Western game design because like early, at least maybe that's how I'm thinking about it because like playing DMC, like I get that's like immediately like, oh, this is a Western game, and like in so many ways, whereas like the camera work, the dialogue, the cutscenes, like everything you love about that is like so cool and like so good for DMC. And then like looking at Devil May Cry 4 or even 5 right now is like where you see like longer cutscenes, but like they're all so cool and like you see these moments and stuff like that. And like I don't want to say the more in-depth combat system because like DMC is pretty deep too once you get into it. But like
I know what you mean, but like there are way more, I would say, facets to the other combat systems to some extent. I think that is very much a Japanese development type thing.
Yeah, like I don't know. That game is good though. Like I don't want to get that mixed up or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
I know where you fall with it. It's just like it's interesting to have that conversation with you now because I feel like you have a much better perspective too. Having now played all 5 main Devil May Cries, but the people have waited long enough. Tell me, have you finished Devil May Cry 5?
No, dude.
Okay, because I feel like everyone I know that was excited about that has already finished it, and I was like, Jesus. Okay. Tell me about Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, my job is like demanding for me like to put my full time into it. It is why like I took off for Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Which I wish I had time off for this, but I just don't. But yeah, that game is so good. It is so much fun to play. I love like just about every aspect of it. Like the only like holdback right now for me right now, just because I'm early on and I'm not super used to him, is like just playing as V.
Mm-hmm.
V's just like such a different character to play as system wise, because you're using some as the fight. He doesn't actually fight himself. It's just like it's like starting like pay attention like what you're attacking while also like watching V at the same time so he doesn't get hit while he does all summonings and stuff like that. So like it's about that getting used to. Like Nero plays exactly the same. I haven't gotten to Dante yet, so I can't tell you how he plays, but I'm pretty sure he plays the same as Devil May Cry 4.
But he's got a motorcycle that he turns into knives or guns or whatever.
No, it's like he splits the motorcycle in half and uses that as a weapon, kind of like I guess swords, but like it's like kind of like uses the tires to like well I guess more like a chainsaw,
like chainsaw or saw blade or something.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I haven't gotten to there yet though.
You will. Yeah. I think that's cool though, because it sounds like V really challenges people that have been playing even 4 to play it very differently, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that game is so good though. Like I really want to like spend more time with it so I can like get like the full breadth of what I think about it. But like right now, definitely like as far as like early games right now, like definitely I feel like it's like obviously the best Devil May Cry game, like so far at least. Like because like the mobility is like so much better in this game, like better than any of the Devil May Cry games before. Like being able to dodge and do what I want to do feels like the most responsive that it's ever had. Not that it didn't feel responsive. Like I said, 3 and 4 are great mechanically, but like I just think this even takes like a step above that as far as like what I want to do, how I want to do it, and executing that, and like having it work. Like it's the best it's ever been. It looks amazing. Like jaw droppingly amazing. Like all the characters look so goddamn good. That's another thing I want to say. Devil May Cry 3, that game looks amazing. That game looks so good. Like
really?
For a PS2 game, hell yeah! Like it was like one of those tail end PS2 games, but like I would say like it's up to levels like something like Metal Gear Solid 3 as far as like
peak PS2.
Yeah, like as far as like visually and like just like character animations and stuff like that, like it looks so good. And like even in the contrast of that, like Devil May Cry 4 looks really dated to me now. Just like Dante doesn't look all that great, and like just texture work in that game in general doesn't look all that great.
It's rough.
Yeah, but like three though, or 3 just looks really good. But yeah, five looks amazing. It's so good. It's one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Is that game?
Awesome. And around locked 60, right?
Lock 60, play on Xbox One X, so that's 4K. HDR, it's everything, dude.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just want to put more time into it so I can get full thoughts on it. But like, yeah, I'm just loving it, dude. Like, if there's like one criticism I have right now, that's because like I can't like bump up the difficulty right now because it's the first time playing it, and like obviously like the first time playing a character action game is the hardest time you play it. But like at the same token, like it's kind of like easy right now for me. And maybe that's because I went
through the whole Crucible.
Yeah, probably. But like like I wish I could just like bump up the difficulty if I could, but like I can't right now. But like yeah, like other than that, small gripe, but like yeah, that game is like immense. I love it so much.
Cool, excellent. The reactions to Devil May Cry 5 are overwhelmingly positive. It's a good feeling, right? It's like Capcom has really turned around almost all of their franchises in a single year, or about 2 years, but in a very short amount of time, and that's really cool. The only ones that are, I guess, like the 3 big ones that they are not doing well on, as far as I can tell, is Street Fighter, which I guess people don't hate Street Fighter 5 as much as they used to, but it just seems like that game has a lot of baggage.
Yeah, if there's something Capcom desperately need to work on, is their fighting games. Like,
which is funny
once they,
because it was their thing for so long, you know.
yeah, that was the thing that was holding them up, and now it's like everything else is holding it up, and their fighting games are just dwindling with Marvel vs. Capcom and
is the other one, and then
yeah,
Dead Rising is also very much dead in the water.
yeah.
But you know, like it seems like they've got a lot of my outside looking in perspective is they have a lot of young talent that they are putting more in creative control of some of their properties, and they are doing right by them. Probably because they grew up on the same properties. Like Resident Evil 2, I get very much those vibes from of like this is a new like or a totally redone Resident Evil team that is making this game. I don't know for sure, but outside looking in, it seems the same is true of Devil May Cry and Monster Hunter World. Was very much them kind of like, how do we make this more appealing without losing the core of what this is, the identity of what this is, and it managed to please people like me who were new to that franchise and people like Tony who are old hats. So I think they've got a lot of smart people working at Capcom right now, and that's really cool because you know they still got like I think like a Street Fighter 6 with a little bit more grounded perspective could be really great. I think Dragon's Dogma from the folks that made Devil May Cry 5 could be really fucking great. So they've got a lot of potential going forward too. I don't think them doing Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Monster Hunter all back to back leaves them without things to do. I think they have even more to go from here, and it's just a good feeling. Especially when everyone else is fucking up so bad. So cool.
But that's all I've been playing.
Cool. Scott, what about you?
One last thing.
Yes.
So it's official now. You lost
failed.
the bet.
I double lost the bet. I did not finish Devil May Cry 4 before Devil May Cry 5 came out. What do we do?
I have an idea.
Okay. Like, you know, I could do the Dante wig, which was the joke that I would make you wear a cloud wig if you didn't finish Final Fantasy VII, or I could play something for you. I feel like that would also be. Fair.
I have something that's a little bit more involved. I'm throwing out here. I just want to see how you think about it.
Okay.
So like Capcom release like or like it's part like the deluxe package, which I think is really cool. Like they have like live actions of like people doing like the stuff from that's in the game, like live actions, like the cutscenes inside the game.
Excellent.
I just want you to do like a 30-second cutscene from the game.
Would it be okay if I did like a monologue of one of the characters?
Whatever scene you want, just 30 seconds. And just post it on Twitter, and that's all.
From Devil May Cry 5, specifically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That might be doable.
That'll
think
work.
About it.
And like put hashtag lost bet or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I could probably swing that.
It's involved, so I don't know how much you want to do it. So
I will not overcommit to it, but I will do my best. I think that's totally fair. And if not, we'll figure something else out.
Sure.
I owe you that much. Scott, video games. Have you played any?
Yeah, just the Kingdom Hearts over the last 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm excited to get the update. We will obviously, for folks not versed, we're gonna do some Scott spoilers on Kingdom Hearts at the very end of the show. It'll be great. Tune in then.
Real quick, where are you at, Scott? That's in general.
I just beat the Frozen. Okay, the next world I can go to is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, you were just going into Frozen last time I talked to you, so.
Well, I was going to, but I went to Monsters Inc. first.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because it was like, that one's a lower level. I should probably do that one first.
Yeah. Cool. Tony, video games. What you been playing, bud?
Oh, we got some of that hot Black Desert Online.
Yeah, you were talking about wars before we started recording, and
it's like the group content for that, which is mostly what we do. We just kind of have fun and murder people because it's us that are an entire guild of ex-Siege players. So we just kind of go on nodes that are meant for like 25 lower geared people, and we murder everybody, and it's hilarious.
Excellent.
So that's basically all for BDO. But it's just a constant AFK, and then 2 hours of doing something actively, and then you AFK for the rest of the day. I've been grinding a little bit, which is pretty cool. I haven't done that in a while.
Are the weapon enhancements rates better?
So I don't think they're better, but now they are like they're revealed, right? Like so you can see the percentage chance of something happening, or succeeding or failing, which is something you couldn't before. You just had to assume that you had failed enough times to increase that chance that you couldn't see to a point where you were comfortable giving the RNG a shot, right? So now if you put a thing in there with a certain stack, it'd be like, yeah, you have X chance to get it. Which is much better than not knowing. But no, the rates haven't gotten any easier.
It does sound like a good quality of life change, though.
Yeah, something that's not very expected from the company developing Black Desert. So I was pretty surprised that was in the game when I.
Yeah, that is nice. Have you been playing anything else?
Quite a bit of Magic: The Gathering Arena, which has been, yeah, dude, that's pretty fun. The cool thing about it is, it makes Magic accessible for the low price of $0. Certainly, it's like you can pay to buy cards or whatever, virtual cards, and that makes it so you can build decks faster. But it is totally feasible to build a deck just by doing your daily quests every day and getting 4 wins or whatever to get the gold that you can get from your wins. And then you can buy a pack every day. So to compare that to paper Magic, that's being given a $4 booster pack every day. And but on top of that, every time you open a certain number of packs, you get a wild card, which is basically you get a rare wild card, and you can turn that into any one rare that you want. So every 32 packs or whatever, so every fourth rare wild card is replaced by a mythic rare wild card. So eventually you get those, and then every 6 you get a uncommon wild card as well. So just kind of opening packs, you can basically assume that you're going to get some stuff from the packs that you open throughout the week, and then one rare or mythic rare wild card and one uncommon wild card. So over time, you end up finishing the decks and stuff, and there are extra bonuses and stuff on top of that. But it's kind of like a slow enough drip to make it so it makes sense to spend money if you want to get some more stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's quick enough that I feel like I'm making progress without spending any money on it, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, so is there a crafting system if you get a bunch of duplicates for you to break down?
So keep in mind the game is not finished, right? It's in beta. But they very recently added duplicate protection, which they didn't have before.
Good.
And so what that does is it doesn't work for packs. If you get an extra one out of a pack, you just kind of do. The game will attempt to not give you duplicates, but if you end up getting more than 4 copies of something, you just didn't, you just got an extra copy, and it goes towards progress in a vault, which is a thing that they are phasing out. But basically it is whenever you get extra cards, it gives you percentage towards filling a vault. And when the vault is full, you get a couple wild cards. So you get a mythic, 2 rares, 3 uncommons, and 4 common wild cards if you fill up the vault. Which would be cool if it filled up faster. I've been playing for a long time every day. And all the packs that I've opened, I've only ever opened the vault once, and I'm at 2% towards the next one. Basically, yeah. There's this other type of reward you can get called individual card rewards, or ICRs, which if you get an ICR and you flip it over, and the computer was going to give you something that you already have 4 of, then it just rolls you to a different card. And if you don't have any more cards to get on that rarity, if it's rare, then it gives you some gems, a small amount of gems, which are the money. So if you open enough cards and it just gives you gems, then eventually you can buy a couple packs or buy an entrance to a draft or something. So that's kind of how they approached that.
I'll ask this. This is more of a personal question to you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Having been someone who played Magic for a very long time and had a hefty collection, do you prefer this kind of like digital streamlined version of it, or did you like the kind of clutter of the cards themselves?
You mean as far as like managing a collection goes?
Yeah.
I think like the deck building and all that kind of stuff, and like browsing what you is obviously significantly better in a digital format because you can just look at it and be like, oh, I have 4 of these common. Or when in the past, if I had like I would have like hundreds and hundreds and thousands of commons, and I would have no idea where they were. Or it would actually at one point it was like I had a desk and there were like 2 really deep drawers off to the side of the thing, and they were just full to the brim of just loose Magic cards.
Where's my land?
Well, land is never a problem.
I know,
but like, yeah, if you're like, man, this deck there, this like jank deck that I want to build needs 4 of this specific common from this set. I would, and this happened more often than I would like to admit. I would just look to my right towards the drawer, pull the thing open, and then have to spend an hour, like sifting through piles of unkempt cards and stuff trying to find it. And maybe I have like 3 or 4 of them. Eventually, you find them. Sometimes you don't. But for that stuff, having a digital collection is significantly better. It's mostly just because I was lazy. If you're not lazy and you organize all that stuff very well, then I would assume that it doesn't really matter. Though deck building and being able to just like, especially for like if you're brewing a deck and not just picking someone's deck off the internet, if you like, you want to see like this deck, I need some removal, right? So you type in destroy in the search bar and it brings up every card, and you can sort by colors and all that that has the text destroy on it. So you can use that to kind of see like what are my options here and like what can I use. And being able to sort and do all that stuff and build decks that way, and just throw, I have 4 copies of one card, but I can use those 4 copies in an infinite amount of decks without taking them out of the other ones.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that stuff is definitely way better. But I don't know. I'm kind of old school. I prefer having paper cards.
Hey, that's fine. I was trying to get to the kernel of that truth,
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of convenience that comes with it, and the convenience of being able to play against an infinite number of opponents whenever you want in the comfort of your own home in your underwear, which technically you could do that with regular normal people in your home in your underwear, but not an infinite amount of people.
Normal.
Yeah. And it's a little less appealing personally.
Well, you've obviously never been to a Commander meeting.
Yeah, you're right.
But the biggest drawbacks and biggest shortcomings of Arena is in the card pool and the selection of formats. Plus, it's those, and that's kind of compounded on by the fact that playing limited is kind of the only alternative to playing regular quick play or draft. And playing limited costs, real money, basically, as if you were going to play a draft in real life, you need to buy the packs, which that makes sense. But until they have, put in a couple more formats that are more fun to play than just grinding, regular play or with whatever deck you threw together to do your quests or doing ranked or whatever, then there's just not a lot there. Some of the most fun things to do in Magic and are like Commander and those kind of more off the beaten path kind of things. And I think that those plus the complete lack of social features in the client are really huge shortcomings of it right now. I'm assuming that they'll eventually add Brawl, which is kind of their solution to a standard legal Commander, which is like 60 cards singletons, so 60 cards, one of each card max, and you choose either a planeswalker or legendary creature to be your commander, which is something you can play basically at any time, and kind of it acts as the theme of your deck. Eventually, they were supposed to add that and then didn't. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle multiplayer, because right now the client is only really set up for 2 players. And if they said that they're considering looking into mobile options, which really it makes sense. Like they're going to try and put this game on phones.
Absolutely.
That's why they're building it. No matter what they tell you, that's why they're building it.
Yeah.
The entire UI is set up so that it works on phones and stuff. And there's no way in hell that you're going to be able to put a 4-player Magic game on the screen of my Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. It's never going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see if they even, what kind of priority they have those kind of more luxury game modes at for developing the game. Something as huge as a multiplayer and all that is massive, right? Like going from 2 players, one player has priority, the other player has priority, then it goes back to the first person who has priority, and it's easier for Magic because it's a structured game, right? Like those priority passes are phases of a turn, so you go through them in every game no matter what. So it's not, and when you go into multiplayer, that means that from a administrative side or whatever, like I, as the person whose turn it is, do a thing, then after that thing I can either choose to hold priority or pass it. If I pass priority, then each other player would then have an opportunity to do something and then pass priority, and then it would go to the next thing, and that's just for one spell. But when you play in paper, it's just like, I play this, and then if someone wants to play, they're like, okay, I'm going to do this, or like, hold on, I want to do this. But when there's no communication at all between you and your opponent on Arena. There's no in-game chat, there's no way to talk to your opponent except for like 4 emotes, which no one ever uses any of them except for like 2. There's one that says nice, and there's one that says hello. And then there are 3 other ones that I don't know what they say because no one uses them because they're never relevant. And it's like, but that's the only way to talk to my opponent is to say hello, So I can't.
Board. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, pretty much. You can say like good game. So like the one bluff thing that you can do with the emotes is like there's a card called Settle the Wreckage. It exiles all attacking creatures. So you so you're about to die, and they get to their attack phase, you say good game, they attack you with everything, then you settle the wreckage them and exile other creatures.
Nice.
You bait them with the emote. That's But anyway, that complete lack of social structure to it, and that means that there has to be a very strict system to make sure that everybody gets the chance to play their card in that situation, which means that for 4 people, it's going to take so long to get through each person's turn with the way that it's currently set up that I don't know what the good solution to that is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So, especially for games like Commander, where it goes significantly longer than a regular 1v1. But anyway, so I think the biggest things with Magic the Gathering Arena, which would improve the game, is just adding social features, and figuring out what they want to do with supplemental formats and all that stuff, because what they're doing right now is kind of shallow, unfortunately, but it makes sense so they can focus on UI coding and making sure that everything works and all that. So they've said that they want to get it to a point where the engine can support like 95% of card text, so they can just dump a new set in the game and then go through and maybe fix like 4 or 5 cards that don't work. And they've done most of that from what they've been saying. So it'd be interesting to see how far they go with just dumping cards that are not necessarily from the standard card pool in there, especially now because they've just very recently, for Paper Magic, revealed a set that completely bypasses standard, which is something they haven't done in a while, and just adds cards directly into the modern format, which is kind of like standard plus. So we'll see. A lot of cool things that they could do with it, but it definitely has a lot of shortcomings for what they're building it for.
Yeah, it's cool. It's so solid out of the gate, though. If it's not in full release yet.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. As much as I want them to add things to it, it's just because it's crazy how accessible it ends up being, because it's it's on my computer and I can just open it up and in 2 seconds be in a match with someone. And if and when that match is over, I don't have to play against that same person or the other 7 or 8 people who happen to be in the store at that time. I can just queue, and it queues me against a significantly greater number of people who are playing the game.
Yeah.
So that stuff is really nice. I just hope that they are able to kind of bring it up to the level of Magic Gathering Online, which is the previous online client, which they're still supporting, but it's very different than Arena. It's kind of like the way that the interface and stuff is set up is significantly more primitive than Arena. So yeah. I like Arenas because it flows a little bit better.
Yeah. Having seen you play Arena, it's very much like taking after Hearthstone and how like the accessibility of its appearance.
Certainly, yeah. And I think that anyone who plays Hearthstone, anything like that, anyone tries to play Magic after that, it's very difficult to go back to Hearthstone because of how much simpler Hearthstone is. Like there's so much depth to card games in this format that I didn't know there could be. And that's been the experience of a lot of people that I've read about who switched over to Magic the Arena from Hearthstone.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat because Hearthstone kind of is very linear and RNG focused and stuff, where Magic is. There's so many more divergent strategies that are available at any one point.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it seems like Hearthstone has burned a lot of bridges with how it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super tuned into that anymore.
Yeah. Anything else you've been playing, Tony?
I played about 26 hours of Stardew Valley.
Nice, dude.
Over the past 2 weeks.
Love that game.
I was originally playing with people, and then all of them stopped playing as often as I wanted to play, so I just started a single player file, threw like 30 mods on it, and I've been going for like 25.
Ooh, what kind of mods are we talking about?
I've got, let me actually pull my folder. So I've got stuff that like expands on the dialogue of all the characters, so that they have more things to say when you go and talk to them, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
I replaced the wizard with a completely different character because I thought the wizard was kind of lame, and there was a mod that replaced the wizard. So I was like, all right, sure, give me a cooler wizard.
Is he just Garrus?
I fucking wish it was, dude.
How great would that be?
Wouldn't it? Yeah, dude, a romanceable Garrus. Let me in. I gotta get those calibrations on my farm.
Mod, yeah, it's just you walk into the wizard's hut and it's just suddenly Garrus's room from Mass Effect 2. He's like, sorry,
dude.
I got some calibration.
Hold on, I'm in the middle of some important calibration. Yeah, so I've done that. I've got some mods that just basically make it so more characters appear at different places. Cool. So the world feels more alive, even though the characters already really do a good job of that with their like daily schedules and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Specific character dialogue expansions, stuff that I've got a mod that completely changes the farm and makes it expands on it, makes it a bit bigger, gives it some more features. Nothing like game breaking or like that's gonna catapult you too far ahead, so the game isn't fun to play anymore.
Yeah.
But gives you more space to work around with, because I wasn't really a fan of the designs, the kind of more restrictive designs of the farm variants that were put into the game a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I felt like each of them had too big of a downside to be worth playing over the
real estate,
Yeah, and I want to make giant crops, right?
Yes.
Like that's something that I'm super like looking forward to do, is once I've got enough money, just filling up my whole farm with cool shit. And like eventually, right, you can build out and make it look really nice and put roads around it and whatever and compartmentalize. And even in doing that, it makes it way harder to plan how you're going to build stuff if you've got like random lakes and hills and all this junk everywhere and like grass that you're not allowed to build on and stuff like that. So I found one that kind of gives you more space, throws in a couple like animal areas that are like pre-fenced in and stuff like that. So I've been messing with that, and I've really liked how that's set up. I've got that. I've got one that it's more of like kind of like a cheat thing, but it's mostly like just convenience. Lets you craft a lockpick that you can use to get into any door.
Nice.
So if like you're just standing, you wake up at 6 and you want to go do a thing, you don't have to stand there for 3 hours and wait for it to be 9 o'clock. You can just craft a lockpick for like 10 or like an iron bar, and then one time use, go into the door and do your thing or whatever you need to do. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like convenience. I've got one that lets me like hover over something and hit F1, and that pulls up basically all the information that would be on the wiki for that, so I don't have to constantly look at the wiki for information on stuff.
That's a great one.
I've got one that puts all NPCs on the map, basically their face on the map where they're supposed to be, and it updates them. I've got one that makes it so the clock increments by minute instead of 10.
Oh, that's cool too.
And then I've got the big one is I added one that's super late game that I only just got to, which adds the ability to build a tractor on your. So you can place like a tractor building, and that lets you use a tractor which you can drive around. And basically, if you equip like a hoe and drive around on the tractor, it will hoe the areas around you. So you drive around and it automatically tills the earth.
That's cool.
Or you can go equip some seeds and then drive around on the tilled earth, and it will plant them all.
That's awesome.
So instead of instead of just driving, running around and doing it all by hand, which is totally fine. You eventually end up doing it with tools anyway. It's just like super late game for the price of like a bunch of batteries and iridium bars and stuff and 150,000 gold. You can buy a tractor to kind of let you kind of automate that a little bit more, with a lot less effort as far as running around. Because at that point in the game, you're not super interested in like running around watering every single thing every single day.
Yeah.
You kind of want to do your other things. So mostly that stuff, and then a couple other like quality of life things. But really just kind of expanding on what's already there and making the game a little bit more immersive.
That's cool.
Is what I've been doing. So yeah, I'm like I'm just finishing my second year.
Nice.
I was like, I'm just going to do everything. I completed the community center, most of it in the first year, but I couldn't do all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's been a really good time going back to Stardew because I hadn't played it in a really long time. And then one of my buddies was like, "Hey, let's play some Stardew," and I was like, "All right." And then after 2 days, they're like, I'm gonna play this other game." I was like, "Cool, I still want to play this game, so I'll see you later."
Yeah, as someone who's like replayed it twice since we talked about it in Game of the Year, I really love that game.
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah, cool. I played some video games.
What kind of video?
My roommate, I guess he has a friend that works for Coca-Cola, the company Coca-Cola, and that person gave him this Coca-Cola orange vanilla, and he got some of them. So let's see how this is. Live taste test. Orange and vanilla seems like a very weird combination. Or am I the only one that thinks that?
They do that with cream soda all the time.
Yeah, it tastes like cream soda.
Who would have guessed?
But like with a little bit of coconut, that's actually not bad. I typically don't like orange flavored things. I just like orange juice. But that's actually not bad. I played some video games.
I guess I'm weird. I like orange flavored things
But you
and
don't like
orange
orange
juice,
juice?
but not orange juice.
Oh yeah. I feel like that is not abnormal.
Orange juice.
One time, when I stayed over at Scott's house, his mom made like fresh squeezed orange juice. It was the best glass of orange juice I've ever had.
Scott was like, "I don't want it."
Yeah, he looked at it, he's spitting it. He's like, "This is garbage. You could have."
I'm pretty sure I complained about pulp.
Yeah,
Hey man, if you don't get your orange juice with extra pulp, you're not a human.
Yeah.
And then I put it through a strainer.
We all know where people fall in the pulp versus no pulp debate here. Tony and I are on the right side of history. That's all I'm saying. I played some video games. I've been bouncing around a lot this last week. I for some unknown reason last night I was like, I want to replay Alundra. So I'm about 5 hours into Alundra, which I played a little bit before we started recording. So, to give an example, Little Tetris 99, I restarted Hollow Knight in the last couple of weeks. I restarted The Messenger last couple of weeks. A lot of that was like me. I just wanted something to play on my Switch. I didn't necessarily want to buy something new. I just stopped myself from buying a couple of games. One, because I shouldn't spend the money, but two, just because I need to finish the games that I have. So big things, big achievements for me. Probably the biggest game I played this week. Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition. I completed. I think when I finished it, just like playing through it front to back, it was over 100 hours, which was crazy. Makes it the second longest game I think I've ever played. Number one still being Persona 5. And that's just.
What do you mean by the longest game? Most content?
Yeah, just like front to back story, how long to beat. I guess. I don't know what my final time on The Witcher 3 was, to be fair. And I kept playing that after I finished the story.
How long was Hollow Knight for you?
Hollow Knight was 46 hours.
46. Okay.
Which is a lot, to be fair. That's the longest of that kind of game, for sure.
That game never fucking ends.
Yeah, it's immense. I love it. But I don't know. I guess it's like Witcher 3, Persona 5, and now Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. They're all probably the three longest. Because, I feel like those are all... Persona 5 is certainly the most, if you, this is just me playing through the game. It took me 103 hours to beat. Like, you know, Witcher 3, there's a lot of stuff that you can and can't do. But it, you know, I there's a lot of good stuff to do. I'm just saying, if you wanted to mainline that game, you could get through it in like 40 to 50 hours probably. Probably less. But yeah, so I did pretty much all the side stuff in Tales of Vesperia. Keep that in mind. And it took me about 100 hours. I think it was like 101 after I beat the final boss. And then there was a little bit more stuff to do after it. There's basically one thing I have left to do in that game, and then I'm done with it completely. Fuck.
Platinum?
Platinum is gross for that game. Although I will say, so like,
usually the trophies for those are disgusting.
yeah, like, oh man, Tales trophy lists are bad. Like, so there are a couple of secret achievements that are doable, but like, so one is view every skit in the game. The skits are like,
Okay.
the little mini cutscenes,
Mm-hmm.
many of which are missable.
Mm-hmm.
Many, because like some of them you will be like, you will make a decision or do a thing a certain way, and then you will get a skit as a result, and you would have to do it all 3 ways, or 2 ways or whatever to see all of them. The way most people get that trophy or achievement is by, there's a, after you beat the game, you can do a new game plus, where you can spend all the grades, so the literal points you earn for doing well in combat, you can spend that on upgrades for your next playthrough. It's a cool thing that Tales has always done, and it's super awesome.
I think it's one of the better New Game Plus.
Yeah, Tales for sure has probably my favorite way of doing New Game Plus. So you have the grade shop that you open up before you start a new game. Like, one of them is unlock all skits. And the way that works is there's a certain place in the game world that you can go to view skits. You can only access it in like the final act though. And it'll show you all the, by default, it'll show you all the skits you've seen. But if you have that done on a New Game Plus, it'll show, you can watch all the skits. So most people will do that and then watch them manually by hand, which is a lot. That's a lot. That's one trophy. The other big ones that are really hard are finish the collector's book, which is basically you have to give one of every single item in the game. All of them, all the different variations of the weapons that you can craft, all the different key items, all the different attachments for people. One is get everyone's title in the game, and titles are like, sometimes they're alternate costumes, sometimes they're just like little story beats that you can equip to characters that don't really do anything. But a lot of those are really obscure. One of them is get every character to the max level, which is level 200. For point of reference, after having done one of the 2 bonus dungeons in the game, I am at level 104, I think, with all my characters. There's another bonus dungeon to do, but I know it's not going to get me to level 200 anytime.
So why don't you have this platinum yet?
Yeah, there's a lot of very time consuming ones. I got more. I've gotten closer with like there's one for like scan every monster in the game too, the monster book, which is also super annoying. But I've gotten further in those things than I ever have before. But yeah, I'm about 110 hours now. There's a new secret dungeon that basically adds a little bit of, like, fleshes out a whole other part of the story, which is really cool. But having like seen just about everything in the definitive edition, man, that game is phenomenal. It's so good. It's hard for it to move up on my favorite games list because it's already very high, but it just, kind of like re-solidified it up there. It's so good. And the stuff that they added to that game, there's like a lot of new stuff in the end game, in that final act. A lot of new side quests too that are really great. But like there's kind of like a big reveal with Patty, one of the new characters. That's like I totally did not expect, because again I didn't know any of that story. And the way they kind of integrate Flynn and Patty, both the new characters, into the end game, like when Flynn finally joins your party permanently, like the kind of feeling around that moment was different because of some of the things that they had changed earlier on in the game, and it made it really, really impactful, and it worked really well. There's just a bunch of new cutscenes in the end that just like answer a lot of kind of lingering questions I had, and flesh out things really well. It's just like I felt so good having finished that game. Everything I think they added is excellent, from the bonus side stuff that is totally missable. Like there's a ton of stuff that is like completely missable that answers like very specific questions that I had about the story of that game. That I really, really appreciated. Like there's so much attention to detail and so much great additional like world building that is in that version of the game that is essential, I think, to my experience with that game. Yeah, I loved it. I cannot say enough good about it. It is as good, if not better, than like a Persona 4 Golden or a Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, as far as like the way they went and added things to it, and how and in what ways it improves the game, which is to say, in every way. Obviously, the voice acting stuff still a bummer, all the way through the end, but not a hindrance. It doesn't hurt that game overall at all for me. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with that. Happy to have finally seen it all. To like, again, to have there are surprises in that definitive edition stuff that I did not know about, and that totally surprised me and were great moments for me still all these years later. And it was awesome to be able to play that game and have new stuff to look forward to and new secrets to be unveiled and new moments to really appreciate. That was just, honestly, that was one of the best feelings. I finished Kingdom Hearts 1 again. I think pretty indicative of my experience playing through Kingdom Hearts 1 again was that when I got to the very end and I was like, all right, I'm going to do this synthesis grind, I just loaded up the save in which I had done all of that and was level 100 and beat it on that save. So that was where I was at by the end of that. But yeah, I don't know. I appreciate like mechanically the stuff that game did. Again, every time I go back to it, I always do. And I started Chain of Memories, and then I stopped. And I will go back to that at some point. I played a lot of Apex Legends in the last 2 weeks.
Ooh.
Specifically,
Are you a legend?
I never became a champion. In those 2 weeks. Yeah.
But you have done it before, right?
I have done it before, multiple times. Okay. I've done it with randos too, which is a great feeling. I played mostly with friends, which was fun to do. I must have finished in second or third place at least 32 different times, and it's the most fucking frustrating thing in the world. I guess I'm not a closer, like mid game, like when there are 10 squads left and I have to engage with another squad, I'll do fine. But when it's final 2, I can't fucking shoot straight worth shit. And maybe it's the pressure. Maybe it's me getting in my head. Maybe they're always better than me at the end. But like I feel like every time I would get to top 3, which would, again, it was a lot of times, it was a thing where it's like they had like 400,000 kills and 1 billion damage done, and like they were MLG Pro or some bullshit. I'm like, man, can't like just a Joe Schmo get to the end like me once, and then I can beat his ass? But no, it just never happened. I honestly, like, I played so many games. Shout out to Matt from Three Best Friends, who I played most of them with. Played a lot of games with a lot of folks, and I was just super defeated after playing Apex Legends. I have a great appreciation for that game and its mechanics, and if we have like a best new mechanic category game of the year at the end of the year, I would certainly nominate the ping system. But I was just super bummed out after playing a bunch of that game, and that sucks. But one that was really surprising for me, one of the PlayStation Plus games this month is Modern Warfare Remastered, Call of Duty 4 Remastered. And I booted that up, and I just jumped right into the competitive multiplayer. And I was very surprised at how hard that hit me with nostalgia. I got huge like pangs of nostalgia playing that game. Which, you know, it's a 2007 game. It's not like 12 years ago. It's not like recent per se, but it is not that long ago. But like being in those maps again for the first time, feeling like the guns in that game for the first time in a long time, since at least 2009. It's at the very like that's the earliest that I played that game before. Like there were just a lot of little things, like certain ways that matches would play out on certain maps. Like I have not had that much like affection or fondness for a map in a multiplayer game, I think, ever in my life. But like going back to some of those Call of Duty 4 maps for the first time in years was like super cool. And yeah, I don't know, it was really cool to just go back to that very simplified mechanical multiplayer where like people feel way more on like the same footing. Like there are way less advantages over other players. There's way less shit going on at any given time. There's no fucking dogs showing up or whatever. It was really cool, and it's really cool to see Call of Duty 4 again. There's just a bunch of stuff from like the newer Call of Duties. Like there's a whole cosmetic page and like a real money loot box shop in that. And I was like, boy, this stuff is gross in this game. But like the stuff that is like core Call of Duty 4 that is still there is like really great. I'm surprised, one, at how much it holds up, and two, how much I actually really love it. Like going back and seeing that stuff again. But yeah, I don't. There's no like specific standout map or anything, but like just all of them. I was like, man, I remember this map, and I remember here on this map, and I remember doing this here, and it brings back a lot of feelings and that I haven't felt in a long time. It reminds me why I really fell in love with Call of Duty. Obviously, I think what it is now is very different, but it was the first time playing that I was like, man, I could see myself grabbing Black Ops 4 and getting way into it. But for now, I think I'll just keep playing Modern Warfare Remastered. It makes me really want them to do a Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, which I hope they do. Because that's the multiplayer I certainly spent the most time with. But that's it. That's all I've been playing. Do you guys want to take a break, or do you want to power through?
Let's get this over with.
Damn.
Oof.
Shut it down. Let's... So here's the thing. I lost a chord, or I misplaced a chord, so I can't play the news music for you guys.
That's okay.
But I can still edit it in post. So I'm going to do that where this...
What if we just never use that news music ever again?
I would be heartbroken.
Sure you would be.
I would be.
What if we played it
I'm gonna
after
edit,
news was over?
I'm going to just put it in post. Like,
What if we put it at the end of news?
all right, we could do that. I could put it wherever you want me to, Scott.
Can't remember if I used the news music in the couple episodes I edited.
I think you did.
I fucked up.
I just pulled 2 bits of news. I wanted to get your guys, because I haven't talked to any of you three about Pokemon Sword and Shield. I want to get some vibes, some feelings from y'all.
Pokemon Gun and Clip.
Yeah, Gun and Clip. I've not heard Gun and Clip. That's really good. So they revealed, they had like a little, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, they were like, hey, we're going to fucking talk about Pokemon in a 7-minute direct tomorrow. Then that Wednesday, they said like, hey, here's the new Pokemon. It is Generation 8 of Pokemon. It is coming to Switch this fall, this holiday, quote unquote. Here it is. It's Pokemon Sword and Shield. The Galar region. Here's what it looks like. Here's what the starters are. Tony, what did you think?
I haven't seen it, to be honest, but I've seen the memes.
Okay. Have you seen the starter Pokemon?
I've seen the memes.
Sure. Do you have a favorite starter?
No. I just, the one, if there's any of them that are fighting type, I'm going to be very...
You see, my favorite's the one that is a fighting type.
I've seen a lot of fighting type memes. Is it the one where they're all really buff, Scott?
We've seen that.
Yeah.
That one's really good. Scott, what did you think?
I also didn't look at the full thing.
Okay.
I think I stopped 3. No, probably shorter than that. 2 minutes
2 minutes into a 7-minute.
Yeah, I had to go.
You can't even get through it.
I had to go. I got interested, and I was like, I really shouldn't do this right now. I have to leave, like right now. And then I never went back.
Did you see the starters?
I believe I ended up seeing them.
Okay. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a pick of the 3?
No.
Okay. Sobble, Score Bunny, and it's like Grocky or something. I don't know what the grass was.
Yeah, what a name.
Grookey.
Grookey. I was close actually.
Groot and Uki.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
died for a second.
Hey, welcome back. Nabishin, did you see it?
No, I missed it.
Oh, okay.
You know that's a goddamn lie. Come on.
I know. What?
Wake me up when there's a direct that mentions Animal Crossing.
We're probably gonna have to wait for E3 for it, but I will wake you up. It's right. You watched the Kyle Bossman reactions, which are phenomenal. What is your starter of the 3, Nabishin?
Probably Grookey.
Okay. He's got that. He's banging his little stick. I like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it was my what I said after seeing it was like I feel like there is more. Like it looks very much like a Pokemon game. There
100% like a Pokemon game.
there was nothing in that presentation that made you think like this looks like a cooler Pokemon game. It just looked like the same Pokemon game. Which, to be fair, I think that to some extent is fine. Like I think that's gonna make a lot of people happy that we're way not into Let's Go Pikachu, but I'll say like all I could think was like, man, I really wish this was more like the Let's Go games. That's all I could think about when I was watching it. I know I'm probably the outlier in that, but I'm sure some people will probably with me. My hope, and what I said, like I tweeted out after watching it, was that I feel like there's more to that game than that we just don't know about yet. They're keeping closer to the chest, and we will hear about it as we get closer. But only time will tell. I don't know where I like all the starters that they have. I guess like Grookey is probably my least favorite, but I still think he's pretty great. But yeah, I don't know. I like my gut reaction was Score Bunny.
That's like the obvious one for me.
It is obvious. But then like my internal feelings was like, man, Sobble is just like a sad lizard, and I feel that.
And everybody online is all about Sobble, so I was like, I guess I'll pick Grookey then.
Yeah, I know. I like all of them though. There's not one that I actively dislike. So, they all do look like they could easily turn into a fighting type Pokemon though.
It's kind of like you know how everyone's like getting Shield because everyone's getting Sword.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those type of things.
It's totally
like,
yeah, I get it though.
If you get Shield, you're lame, dude. You gotta get Sword.
It's the thing though. Like they announced Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's like, man, who's gonna get Shield? Like it's the Bossman reaction, but it's so fucking true. Only sad people will get Shield.
And then they'll be even more sad because they picked Shield.
Because they picked fucking Pokemon Shield. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cool name. I think the aesthetic of the region looks awesome. Kind of like industrial era London is the aesthetic, and it looks great. A lot of colors that look great too. A lot of fall colors. I think fall colors in video games is like one of my favorite looks. Like my favorite region in Breath of the Wild is the Akala region because it's like all fall colored trees and everything. I love it. I just love the way that it looks. But yeah, I don't know. I think there is more to tell about Sword and Shield. We'll have to wait and see. But regardless, they're gonna apparently they sold out. Both versions sold out on Amazon, which is buck wild, like pre-orders wise. But they're up again. So
Why? Like, what's the main selling point of this over any other Pokemon game?
I don't know. I think it's just people want a Pokemon game. It's crazy to me. But yeah, I'm optimistic. I don't think at this rate I'm gonna end up playing either of them, but if they've got a big hook in them, maybe I will. Who knows?
It'll probably be something I buy and drop like I usually do with every Pokemon game.
Yeah. I think like I would have done that. I would do that, but like I dropped off of Sun so hard, which was a bummer because it was one of those things where I got Pokemon X and then I dropped off of it. But when I went back to it a few months later, I ended up playing it all the way through and really liking it. So I was hopeful going into Sun of like, oh, they're mixing it up. This is gonna be really cool, and just none of the new stuff ended up working for me. So who knows? Regardless, I'm gonna be playing Animal Crossing with Tony, so that's all that matters.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna get that the turnip market on lock. I'm gonna be in that Reddit. Don't worry. This time I'm going in, Tony.
I forgot about that.
I didn't. I think about it all the time. The only other news story I pulled was EA announced that they are not going to be doing an EA Play press conference this year, which is
Not surprising,
their E3 press
considering
conference. Yeah.
their recent releases and how terrible they've been.
Yeah, EA has not had a great calendar year, like 12 months, just in general.
Yeah, I mean, that also kind of goes to show how little they are working towards, at least, that is publicly ready to be announced or talked about.
Yeah, the only thing like that was weird for this for me is they've doubled down saying that Respawn's Star Wars game, Fallen Order. Does that sound right? I can never remember. Nice. That is releasing this fall, apparently. And obviously all we've seen of it is a logo. But that's the only kind of big hitter that I know of that they have. The only other thing that maybe they could pull out would be like another like EA indie game that they were publishing, kind of like A Way Out.
They have
Faye and whatnot.
They have a Titanfall game this year.
Yes, they have a Titanfall project also coming out this year, but we don't know what that is. It doesn't seem like it's Titanfall 3 because I feel like they would just call it Titanfall 3. I don't know. It is. I think it is a poor decision in that they have like this. They actually have a Star Wars game that supposedly is coming out and they can show. They should show like what they're. They should show some kind of visual representation of what they're doing with Anthem, because like I think come June that game is already going to look very different than it does now. And it would be nice for them to kind of show another thing of like the latter half of the year, what they're doing with that. And also, they've got this Titanfall thing. So it's at least 3 things that they could and should be talking about. But I don't know. They're still doing EA Play, which is their E3, not E3 thing. They're just not having a press conference. I know somewhere Logan Moore is very upset because their terrible press conferences were his favorite thing about E3, but... I don't know.
E3 is just disappointing all around this year. So
yeah. So like now EA will not have a press conference and Sony will just not be there. So I don't know. To be fair, like Microsoft could have fucking Jeff Bowser, Doug Bowser, not Jeff Bowser. that's a different guy. Doug Bowser walk out on stage on their press conference. So this E3 could still be wild. It's just going to be a very different, weird thing. But yeah, those are the only 2 things I pulled. I feel like some other stuff probably happened this week, but I've not been paying attention because I've been very sick.
Will Bethesda still have a conference this year?
Ooh, yes. Yes, I think they will.
Because if there's anyone who needs to dodge E3, it's probably more Bethesda than it is.
Yeah. Come out with Todd Howard walks out in a black suit and it just turns out to be the funeral of Fallout 76. Rest in peace.
When they do have their conference, like when will they talk about that game? Because they obviously are if they're going to have one. But like, will it be the first thing they say? It's like, hey, this is what we're going to have, the roadmap, and that's it.
No, I think they would come out with something that's feel good. Probably like Doom Eternal. Like, all right, here's the release date because that doesn't have a date yet, and I imagine that could be like a late summer, early fall game. So I would bet they come out with like that, and then they move into Fallout 76, and then they show something that people really want to see, like Elder Scrolls or one of
They
them.
can't show Elder Scrolls.
They can't show Elder Scrolls, but the other one, Starfield, I feel like they could probably show first gameplay of that, and everyone would forget everything anyway. So
With the release date not this year, because it's not coming. You don't think it's coming out this year, do you?
no, I don't. But I think they could probably throw a year on that bad boy. Be like 2020 or 2021 or something like that.
But that's not what Bethesda's all about. They just announce stuff and they come out.
Yeah, well, I mean, announcing Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 last year was not what Bethesda's all about, but they needed some big names, so they had them. So I think that is, and also there's that Wolfenstein thing I keep forgetting about.
Yeah, but that's not going to be much of anything.
I agree. I'm just saying they've got enough for them to justify a press conference. Could be a 30-minute thing, could be an hour, could be less.
Ooh, it's going to be a direct.
I think
that's what it's going to be.
I think
100%.
Smart, yeah.
Just dodge all the bullshit. Just
Yeah,
do
absolutely. That. Just do something pre-recorded, keep all the bullshit out, etc., etc.
Oh, we still need to do that press conference thing. I really want to see the Nintendo thing.
Everyone in Slack was into the idea, just so you know.
Okay.
They think it would be really fun. Yeah, we'd have to pull out some choice ones. Not that we are short on any choice press conferences to rewatch. That's it. That's all I pulled. Real quick before we get into our final segment here, I did not pull questions. I did not solicit questions this week, just because, like I said at the beginning of the show, trying to keep a little bit tighter. But if you'd like to be a part of the show, normally we take emails, voicemails, and tweets as questions. You can send your emails, mailsack@irrationalpassion.com. Oh, sorry. Somebody hopped in chat just soon enough to tell me I'm very quiet. You can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, or you can email or give us a phone call at 404-590-1337. Standard long distance fees do apply, though. Please keep that in mind. I totally blanked. This is what I get for looking away from the Google Doc, thinking I can handle the outro on my own, but I can't. You can follow the website and the show on Twitter at IrrationalPod for news on when we post cool stuff. I would definitely stay tuned to that during PAX East, just because George Cruz is going to be there, and he's the social media maestro. So he will be pulling all the strings for sure. And also on Instagram, Irrational Passions is the username. And George does a lot of great stuff there too. Some other stuff, rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play or Spotify, wherever you listen to this show. We would appreciate it. Check out our other shows like Input and Raccoon City Radio and Video Game Book Club. Mentioned Book Club, this episode we're playing through Thimbleweed Park. It's really cool. I would say, like, I know I sounded a little bit down on it earlier, but I've generally been having a great time with that game and going back to that format. I missed the first episode of Thimbleweed Park, but I will be back for the second and third. For everything else, Irrational Passions, the website is irrationalpassions.com. Let's get into the final thing. We've reached the end of the show. Tony, you know what that means? Do you?
Should put me on a spot like this. I don't know.
It's time for bets.
What are those?
What are those? Nobshin, I don't know if you've written down the bet.
I completely forgot to write it down.
Nobshin, what's this week's bet?
So Tom Clancy's Division comes out Friday.
Excellent.
And
The Division 2, to be specific.
The Division 2. Yes, you're totally right. I guess it'd be like how many guns will we see in total on the cover of it? So that's the front cover and the back cover of the game. How many guns will be on there?
This is a good one.
Mine would have been, how many lines of code do you think Tom Clancy himself wrote?
Tom Clancy is dead, so that would be
0.
it'd be very difficult for him to add code to that.
I'd bet 30.
30 lines of code.
They're
Had it
using
on a
his
flash
old
drive.
code.
It was an old concept.
It's like Tolkien.
All right, I will reveal mine first. Everyone get it locked in your head. All right. My bet is 12. 12 guns on the front and back.
Mine is 8.
I was gonna say 3.
And I was gonna say 5.
All right. I said 12. Scott said 5. Tony said 3. Nobishin said 8. Last week's bet, technically 2 weeks ago's bet. Next week, the console version of Stellaris released on PS4 and Xbox One. In the top 5 open critic reviews, so the 5 most positive, how many times will any variation of 4X be used? So I said 13, Scott said 7, Tony said 1, Nobishin said 3, and then Brant said 3, and Alex Van Aken said 3 as well. The actual number was 17. And I do want to say,
God.
yeah, it was a lot. There was one review that used 4X 9 times. So that was the brunt of that. One of them did not use it at all. Shout out to that review. It was from a Russian video game website. No, that one actually used it once. It was from a
Somebody knows how to not use crutches. Got it.
I did not count instances where it was like the category of the post on the website or one of the tags. I just counted it in the body of the text.
Yes, that would not count.
Just for full disclosure, 17. So my bet of 13 actually won, which was nice. I won a bet. That brings team Bout to Bust a Bet, Tony and my team, up to 2.
Easy.
And team Doubling Down still rock hard at 3. The Norders, our guest team, also rock hard at 3. I love the ever-changing name for the guest team. That is it for bets. That's it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for tuning in, for supporting, for all the good vibes, and for understanding when we missed last week. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World Is Saved. Shout out to Danny Wiesner. Great dude. Optometrist. Get your eyes checked, everybody. Take care of those peepers. You never know what might happen.
What?
I don't know, man. It's just...
If we're going off of random peeper stuff,
Yes.
I was just given one of the, I kind of want to say knockoff gunners,
Okay, yeah.
but like they're like, the best way to put this is they're supposed to look like actual prescription glasses, but they just have the tint worked into like the what is it, the blue light remover?
Yeah.
Into the glasses. Like that is, they look like prescription glasses, but they have that worked in. You can't tell, like just by looking at the glass up front.
Have you been using them?
You can really, if you take them off, you cannot tell that they have anything odd with them.
Yeah, there are ones that are a little bit less yellow, too. Like the ones I have are technically.
Yeah, and if you tilt them towards like a white surface of a screen, the tint that you would see on the screen completely goes away. Like, that's how dumbed down it is.
Have you been using them?
I mean, no.
Sure.
But surprisingly they fit.
Okay. I am curious.
That has not been the case for any of the prescription glasses I've had before. I had to bend the fuck out of those glasses to get them to fit on my face.
Fit on your weird oblong head. Nothing.
Yeah. So I mean, like, they're comfortable.
Hey, that's good.
I was told, hey, don't strain your eyes. Put these on and keep them.
Okay, that's good though.
And I was like, I don't strain.
I will say it is hard for me to play games without them now. I've become dependent. My eyes just get way too tired way too fast. I am curious, while we are taking this Peepers related tangent, Nobshin, what's the Gunners update? Have you been using your Gunners?
Not as of late, because I haven't really been playing all that much. Well, that's not completely true, because I've been playing Devil May Cry, but like, when I was playing Kingdom Hearts, I was playing at like the wee night hours, so that was really a strain for my eyes. So that's when I used them mostly.
Did they help?
Yeah.
Good.
My eyes didn't water as much.
Nice. Yeah, I'll say like now if I play games for an hour without them, I'm like, oh god, they're so watery. So yeah, I'm wrecked.
You're forgetting the blank.
I'm a weakling now. Thank you everybody very much. Thank you Scott. Thank you Tony. Thank you Nabashin for joining me as always. Big hugs all the way around. I love
Final word.
Final word I want to throw out there for you. I'm trying to add a couple, but I'll say this. Captain Marvel's great and is worth your time. And regardless of any kind of baggage that you might be carrying about it, you should go see it and have a good time. I think you'll like it. As long as you go in with an open mind. That's the end of the show. Thank you everybody so much for listening. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week. Titles.
Something about titles.
Something.
Someone say titles.
Titles.
Give me a hot fucking second
You're
here.
good. Take your time.
Not the best this week.
Hey, we had more serious conversations.
Where's my doc link, Alex? You're slacking.
I am sorry. I can post it for you.
It's okay. I think I'll be there by the time you post a link.
I did it.
I
You're
was
not
wrong.
here yet.
Yeah, I was wrong. I clicked the link. All right, so we got some titles. Got some titlies.
Tiddlies.
Yeah, it was Tony. ... It tastes like cream soda. Pokemon Gun and Clip, and random peepers stuff.
I like those last two a lot, though. Now, here's the thing. Where do we want to fall on Pokemon Gun and Clip? Because that's just a joke that Tony took from somebody.
No, it isn't. I made that shit up.
All right. I'll allow it then. I like random peeper stuff, too. Tony, what do you like? What do you want the title to be?
Well, if it were me, I wouldn't put a title on the episode. I would just leave it Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 415.
We already did that. Can't do it again.
We did it once, and we can't do it again. All right, well, that's Tony's vote, I guess. Scott, what do you like?
I want to go with random peeper stuff.
Nobshin?
Same.
All right, I like it too. Scott, do you want to say the episode number, and Nobshin, do you want to say the title?
Reverse.
Okay, I'll allow it.
That was Scott's word.
It's true.
It was his quote. This is Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 415.
Random peeper stuff.
Look at my papers. All right, Tony, you are free now. We're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts. God. Oh, God, get me out of here. Please.
All right, bye, boys.
All right, so where... Okay, good. I was going to start as a joke.
No, please
Try and
start.
chase him out
Spoiler
faster.
warning for everyone listening. We are going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. No holds bar. I mean...
Yep.
It's just where Scott is, though, so don't freak out.
All right, so...
It's also March. Get over it.
That's also why we do it at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So... Got into the Monsters, Inc. world.
Yeah. What'd you think?
So far, of the 4 worlds that I went to, I think it's the weakest world as a world.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The whole, I want to say the rail section just wasn't that great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a big part of that. It's not a big part of that world.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like it's a big part of that world in size, but you're there for all of 10 minutes maybe. So in the grand scheme of things, 3 hour 10 minutes is nothing to 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say like the Monsters Inc. world was a little bit of a personal disappointment because I really wanted to like jump in and out of a bunch of doors and go to a bunch of places, and you never do that, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a wasted opportunity, but at the same time, I get it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where that would be the thing you do after you send Boo back home if there was revisits again.
Yeah.
But
and I'll say like they made that factory way more fun to navigate, way more interesting than I thought they could. So
yeah, they did do that for it. Because I will say the fire section was weird though, where you had to put out the fires.
Yeah.
Where you didn't actually have to put out the fire,
Super
but I
weird.
did anyway.
Yeah. It's cool.
I mean, it worked.
Yeah, you can throw water on it and it puts it out. It's like check out a physics engine, I guess.
I don't know why, because they do it twice. And the first time you can do it and it'll clear the section, but the second time if you do it, it doesn't clear the section.
Now I'm gonna ask, most important about the Monsters Inc. world. How did you feel about the scene at the end with Vanitas, and most importantly, Sully, aka MVP, coming in hard, trying to throw this boy through some doors? It's fucking incredible.
It was a pretty good scene. I definitely didn't expect to see him back.
Yeah, that was the first thing in that first trailer when we were like, Scott, don't watch this. It showed Vanitas. And I was like, oh man, if Scott doesn't know Vanitas is gonna be in this game at all, that'd be super cool. So I'm glad we got you there.
Pretty surprised he's back, and I'd say it was a pretty smart move too, in terms of getting everybody up to date with Sora's heart situation.
Yeah, because that was like him figuring out like, oh, Ventus is here. Shit.
Yeah, because it's the entire thing was everybody, the entire audience at this point, is hammered in their head that, at the very least, the people who played Birth by Sleep have it hammered in their head that Vanitas has been in there from the start.
Yeah.
However, when they start talking about hearts and Sora's heart, if you just played 1 and 2, and some of the side games, and maybe missed, the PSP one.
Yeah.
Because you maybe assumed that they wouldn't have done that. And didn't go back to it, then you wouldn't know that Ventus was in there. Ventus was in there.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a great moment.
So it's going line by line. I still can't recommend anybody pick this up as their first venture into Kingdom Hearts. Or really, I also don't recommend hopping from 1, then to 2, then straight to 3.
I know someone that did that now, though, I will say. And they still really like 3, so.
But it's not the shot in the dark that I thought you'd be it's not the jump into the void that I thought you'd be taking.
I mean, I'll say this, Scott, you still got some video game left.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so like right now it's maybe not, but yeah, I get you. I would say that, I mean, I think they do a pretty good job about it. Especially because, like, for the most part, the Disney worlds are pretty standalone.
Well, the whole thing is I have a feeling that they have a very good way of bringing everybody up to speed as to what you're doing and kind of why you're doing it, but you don't have any context for why other people are the way they are. And that's the fairest way that you can put it, because even in 1, that was a mystery to us. In 2, half of that was still a mystery to us.
Yeah.
And those games still played out well.
Because, I mean, to be fair, like, there's only 2 side games where Sora is the protagonist. A lot of them are about other characters, so.
Right.
For the most part, the numbered Kingdom Hearts games are very much like Sora's games. So.
Like, the whole... Birth by Sleep wasn't out yet. And the entire, Sora's not even a fraction of what the other Keyblade Masters could do. Line drops in there. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You didn't learn about that in Chain of Memories.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about, Zigbar? Dropping cryptic shit. Yeah, it's cool, though. Vanitas coming back is cool, and fighting the Unversed in that world is also really cool. Then you went on to Frozen, right?
Not yet. I went to Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah. What do you think of the Winnie the Pooh stuff?
I would say it's probably some of the weaker stuff in
Oh yeah.
the weakest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like I was big on these side worlds anyway.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
that was my thing of like if Winnie the Pooh is just like the same mini game over again, like if it's kind of like more condensed and you still get a little bit of that good story, like the bond between Pooh and Sora, like I was happy with
yeah,
what
like
was there.
it's not like it was a wasted story beat.
Yeah.
So it didn't, as much as it may have. I don't want to say it looked like it was thrown in there haphazardly, because it looked like you, for the first mini game you went through, tutorial section, kind of say the same thing with the second one,
Yeah.
and then you actually had to try to play the mini game well for the third one.
Yeah. Pretty much. I would say the art style, like the way the game looks in the Winnie the Pooh world, is awesome though. I love the kind of cell shaded.
Yeah, they nailed it.
It looks awesome. God, it looks so good. Hell yeah.
They did pretty good in the other ones too.
Oh yeah, I mean like the whole game looks great. You haven't seen the Pirates World yet, but
I'm about to.
dude, there's like another kind of like filter style that they do for that world that I think just looks amazing. So, then you did Frozen, I assume.
Then I went on to Frozen.
What did you think of the Frozen world?
So the storytelling in this one was much better than the other worlds.
Okay.
And I'm not just saying that in terms of the Frozen's a good story, because I haven't seen it, but it's in Tangled. You missed half that story and you knew it.
Yeah. You do miss some of the story in Frozen, I will say. Like the Hans, the kind of villain of that movie, he's like kind of just there at the end.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't matter, you know.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's, yeah, you're missing the beginning. Essentially, I'm pretty sure you missed the beginning of Frozen.
Yeah, for the most part.
And then you're missing the end of Frozen. But you get a decently complete story midway through.
Yeah, I think you still like empathize with like the Elsa story and everything.
Right. So like you're in the other one, like that just wasn't the case.
So I'm curious, guy, as someone who's not seen Frozen, how did you feel about them literally putting just the entire Let It Go sequence in the Frozen world?
It was made better when Sora started talking over it. Because it was like, it's, having never seen it, it's like, all right, this is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
As far as
like visually, what it is.
Visually.
Yeah.
It
was. I will say it's cool to see like that sequence like one for one recreated in the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine is pretty rad.
Yeah, and then what they did is they integrated Sora's part.
Yeah, or Sora just kind of shows up at the beginning and bumbles, and then shows up at the end. It's very good. I love that. It's so Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
The one they should have left out was I Want to Build a Snowman.
Yeah, that one was just like poorly integrated, I feel. I still liked it though, because I'm a fucking lame-o. Cool. Yeah, I really like the Frozen world's my favorite world, mostly because I love Frozen, but also like I really like the stuff they do in that world. I like the ice labyrinth. I think that's a cool area.
Well, yes, that was the thing. The ice labyrinth's weird.
It is super weird.
It's like she caves you in and builds a labyrinth under you.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, I'm with you. It's very weird. And then like it's just like an orb that you pop out of, I guess.
And like here's the thing, to me it looks like that was supposed to be Elsa's castle.
Yeah.
Outside looking in.
Yeah.
But then they had to move it because it didn't fit.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And it's yet you very honestly could have rearranged that to work right.
Yeah, I think so too.
Larxene could have kicked you out of the castle before you met Elsa.
Or like after the Let It Go sequence, when you catch up to Elsa, Larxene like pushes you down to the bottom of the castle, and then it's that labyrinth. Either way, I think they could have made it work a little bit like contextualize this weird ice labyrinth that's just kind of there.
And then you jump out of the dark world?
I
When did
guess.
you get into the dark world?
I don't know.
That's,
When he got
that's
buried
the
in the
whole
ice.
thing.
I'll tell you, Justin Graffius was very excited when that world came up because he loves Frozen, and 2, he loves Larxene. So literally his 2 favorite things. Cool. Any other thoughts, feelings?
Let's see. So far, I have gone ahead and I have replaced the Toy Story Keyblade with the Monsters Inc. Keyblade.
Nice.
Straight up.
Yeah.
The Toy Story hammer is it gets you into too much trouble.
Okay.
You just start free taking hits as you go along if you don't get staggered.
Okay.
And so the claws are they do more damage, they are faster, and the yo-yos
are
to play
cool,
with.
man. You don't need any other excuse.
And then the shot lock on the yo-yos is very good.
Yeah, it is.
Because it is Ragnarok if it's too low, and then it is a much... It's a harder hitting Ragnarok. That's I guess more... I guess you can AoE it better.
Yeah,
is how I'll put it.
Okay. And then
Because it'll attack onto one enemy, but because it's not a laser, it's a yo-yo that's popping out. If there's something next to it, hits that too.
the portal yo-yo
Yeah,
shot like is also, it's just very good.
that's the full shot like I was talking about.
Yeah. Cool.
Other than that, I can kind of see why people feel that there's a little less story in the game than they would like.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the size of the worlds.
Yeah, there's a lot to those
Because
worlds.
before, the worlds were very condensed. Right? So you were almost trying to run from cutscene to cutscene, essentially.
Yeah.
And in some cases, you were playing a more active role in the story. And in other cases, even if you were kind of just moving it along, you were 2 or 3 rooms away. So you would go through the world in half the time.
Yeah, now that the
So
worlds are a
you'd
few
be
hours
hitting...
long, it's harder to do
Yeah,
that.
when the worlds are that much longer, you could have honestly had a very good world without that ice labyrinth sequence.
Yeah.
Completely. And it wouldn't have really interfered with anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have umbrage with the ice labyrinth, from what I've seen.
Well, it's just the easiest because it's the Monster Inc. Fire sequences you could probably take out too.
Yeah, I get you.
And it wouldn't really have hurt it all that much.
Yeah, it would have made it shorter too.
It would have made it shorter. It would have put the story bits closer together, and it wouldn't have hurt it.
Yeah, I am curious. Like, I'm just very excited for you to get to kind of like the final act of the game. I don't know what your reaction is going to be, and I'm just very excited for that.
So there's 7 worlds?
Yeah, you got 2 more worlds left. 2 more Disney worlds. Which is what, Pirates of the Caribbean and Big Hero 6, I believe.
And then that's the last of the Disney worlds?
Possibly.
Because it feels like there's an entire third section. Like when you go into the Gummy Ship section, there should be a number. There's 2.
Mm-hmm.
There should be 3.
I don't want to say too much.
That means yes, but it might not be Disney worlds. Got it.
That is the right thing to take away from that. Cool. Keep playing, Scott. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will be back next week with more Scott and Kingdom Hearts. Bye.